eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with a Capital One Saver card. So let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
With Progressive Snapshot, you could save on auto insurance rates by driving safely, which is nice. Because you can just keep doing you. So keep on using that broken phone charger because it occasionally works. Keep quoting something you heard on a podcast as your own. Keep ignoring your sister's texts while you drive and after. And when baggage claim says, have a great trip, keep on saying, you too. And keep driving safely. And you could save with Snapshot from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents. Surcharge possible for unsafe driving.
Testing.
We're live from Chick-fil-A.
This is Grant.
And this is Laura.
And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Smokehouse Barbecue Bacon Sandwich is that sweet bun.
And that chicken filet was perfectly crispy and soft at the same time.
And that Smokehouse Barbecue sauce, it's a lot of fun. And the brown sugar bacon definitely had a little bit more pizzazz. Also, the Mac, one of the all-time greats. Man, I'm getting hungry.
Order the Smokehouse Barbecue Bacon Sandwich and a Coca-Cola on the Chick-fil-A app for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Mariners fans, it's time to bring the noise to T-Mobile Park. This lineup is loaded up and locked in. From every moonshot.
Cal Raleigh obliterates this. How far? Way back there.
To every how in the world did he catch that moment?
Tough play. Williamson reels it in.
Be here as the squad shuts the door and lights the W.
Munoz looking for the final out. Here's the stretch and a 2-2 on the way to Young. It is strike three called and the ball game is over.
This is our house.
They're going crazy here at T-Mobile Park.
Mariners baseball. Try dance up.
Don't miss this week's jam-packed action at T-Mobile Park. The fun continues with two more Randy Arozarena bobblehead giveaways tonight and tomorrow at 6:40 against the Nationals. Both matchups are Mariners value games, which means you can score seats starting at just $11. Get your tickets at mariners.com.
The home of the Mariners.
One hopper snared at short. On a quick hop by J.P. Crawford. That guy's a magician over there at shortstop.
Seattle Sports.
Download the Seattle Sports app.
When businesses thrive, communities score. That's why Bank of America is the official bank of FIFA Club World Cup here in Seattle. And our more than 95 local business specialists are ready to help your business win. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA Club World Cup 2025. Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
This might be the most surprising statistic I've shared in decades of doing local news. More than 75% of commuters will be involved in a car accident at some point. JP Pendergast of Pendergast Law with more.
What makes it more surprising? The average person will be involved in 3 to 4 collisions in their lifetime.
With accidents unbelievably prevalent, what are some safety tips if it happens to you?
Safety first. Secondary collisions are not uncommon while awaiting help. Turn on those hazards and remain in a safe place. If a bystander witnessed the accident, capture their information and encourage them to remain at the scene. Seek medical attention immediately if needed, as delaying can be a costly mistake. Lastly, remember that statements made to police and insurance adjusters can affect your case.
Collisions are more common than we'd like to think. If you find yourself in one, follow these helpful tips and then call my friends at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one's injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
PendergastLaw.com.
Ken's Pool and Patio reminds parents swimming is a healthy outlet for kids if we remember to put safety first. Make sure your children are visible at all times by a lifeguard or responsible adult. Sign them up for swimming lessons and provide a flotation device for added safety. Always check swimming conditions in advance and remind your kids to never swim alone. Best wishes to all our kids from the entire team at Ken's Pool and Patio, your family-owned full-service pool company, proudly serving you for over 50 years. Online at kenspool.com. SuperTalk.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Bump, I know you and Curtis talked a lot yesterday about whether or not there should be a six-man rotation. It's the first question that I got on the text line when I said, when Bryce Miller comes back, what do you do with Logan Evans? Logan Evans, what a night last night. Was anyone else upset? I got it, but was anyone else listening upset that they didn't let him finish out, have a complete game?
Yeah, I understand why they didn't, but
Yeah.
I want to see the young man
I wanted
finish.
a little bit.
We hardly see that in today's game.
How many pitches did he have, too? He was
He was under 90.
Yeah, it was not a lot.
Would you have let him do it?
Yeah, but that's me, you know? I'm like, hey, I like to see accomplishments, little milestones and stuff, but I understand why, you know, the skip was like, let's
Sure.
get him out of there.
Sure.
Let Bizarro go finish his thing.
But you can afford to give up a couple
88
runs.
pitches.
Yeah, I
Man,
wanted
if he had
I think
finished
I
a
would've let
complete
him
game under
finish.
100, that would
Yeah.
have been.
I think I would have let him finish the game.
Yeah.
And again, you can understand why. It's not like this egregious. It's not like he had a no-hitter going and they were like, yeah, we're going to put in a reliever.
Mm-hmm.
But, man, he was not pushing it.
He was in the zone.
Yeah.
He was feeling it.
I don't know. I just would have wanted to see it. Logan Evans' performance. Excuse me.
Bless
Allergies
you.
coming in strong. Logan Evans' performance was his best of the season. Very, very encouraging. Bump, I know you were tipping your cap in your email to just their ability to continue to develop pitchers that even if they aren't the top-tier pitchers that George and Logan Gilbert are, there's still guys that would be really useful weapons on other teams, particularly teams that need pitching help. Is that something you consider at the trade deadline if you get the rest of your guys back strong, right? If you get Logan Gilbert back, now I have to say which Logan. If you get Gilbert back, if you get Bryce Miller back, do you suddenly look at Logan Evans or Emerson Hancock and go, oh, this is a useful trade weapon?
Yeah, I think you have to consider it. You never don't explore all of your options. And at this point, you have to look at it. But you're also looking at the potential of this group. And here's the thing about the rotation is that it's rare that you keep all five of your guys healthy throughout the whole season, right? Usually someone's going to get banged up. So it's almost nice to have, you know, that get out of jail free card waiting for you in Tacoma or wherever. But you also look at it and say, all right, well, he's just placing more value on himself. What can we get out of him? Especially when you get to the trade deadline and you see some spots that you need filled. Like we're talking about Cole Young yesterday. Should you bring him up? Angie said, nah, don't touch the babies. She said, let the babies develop. But we see that there might be a void at second base. You know, you don't want Polanco playing there. Bliss isn't coming back anytime soon. What are you going to do there? So I think it's a perspective that can change week by week. How are they performing? What's the health of your rotation? What is everyone else doing on this roster? That determines how you look at it. But I think you have to have a conversation about it.
Okay.
You're not ignoring it.
Okay.
We're having a conversation.
Under what circumstances do you feel comfortable moving on? Like trading Logan Evans or Emerson?
I don't feel comfortable because I'm looking at
No matter what, you're like, I'm nervous about what I'm doing.
because we're seeing, that 1 year was like fool's gold when it comes to rotation and their health. After that, we've seen guys get banged up all the time. I'm looking at this young gun, and I'm thinking, just keep developing him, keep him in the organization, because something is going to happen to somebody, and you have your guy if you need it.
Tell me what you think of this point. It's Curtis's point that he brought up in show prep. Curtis, I'm stealing it for the purposes of this argument. Curtis said, what if Logan Evans and Emerson Hancock matter more to you than any other team? Like, even if you
Brock
get
Purdy stuff.
You know what I mean? Even if you get Kirby's already back, but let's say Gilbert comes back, Bryce comes back, you've got your full rotation, and suddenly it feels like you have these two extra pieces.
Mm-hmm.
You also the offense has been really fun, but does anyone fully trust the offense to carry this team?
No one.
Anyone.
No one fully trusts this organization. Period.
No.
From upstairs to the players to the manager. No one. No, and you shouldn't, because you got to earn that trust. You got to prove it. So no one trusts 100%. No.
Yeah. Someone said, let's trade Garver for what?
Ain't nobody want Garver.
That's
also,
not
you
how
need a
trades
backup
work.
catcher. Like, yeah, it's just take my stuff that I clearly don't. Could we trade Donovan Solano for what?
I mean, if you're looking to like match contract numbers,
If you're looking
with a
to
star,
add
then
some
sure.
stuff to your clubhouse, like you know, could you like a classic fax machine kind of move?
I love this time of year because you get those trade proposals from people texting in that are like, what if we trade Donovan Solano and Mitch Garver for Aaron Judge. That's fair. That's 2 players for 1.
And when you think about it, that's 2 is more than 1.
Exactly.
So that's very important.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good point that you made. Bars. Retroactively applied, which is that no one trusts right now much with this organization. You would typically trust the arms, but they haven't stayed healthy. It's why I don't feel comfortable trading those guys, because I go, like, your best bet to make the playoffs is that you stay as healthy as you possibly can. And if you didn't have Logan Evans and if you didn't have Emerson, you're going with bullpen days. Like, you're just stretched so thin to where I don't have confidence the offense can be consistent enough to make up the difference. I think that you end up having just a surplus at one position, just like you knew you would, and you just leave it alone.
Just leave it alone. Leave it alone. And, ask me next week, it could be different. And we're still trying to see, right? I'm still waiting for Bryce Miller to look like the Bryce Miller that we saw.
Really important point.
Everyone else is kind of like, okay, we've seen them have their moments. Bryce is the only one where I'm looking at him and saying, all right, man, when you come back, I got to see something, man. I got to see something. And I think his performance affects Logan and Emerson as well. So Bryce has to show up.
Would you have, let's say Bryce comes back and continues to struggle and Logan looks promising. Bryce, as a player, has shown more and proven more. His upside feels higher than Logan's, right? But if Logan's performing, do you even take Logan out?
See, and that's the tough part, because you've seen Bryce look really good, right? He has a year and some change of work. You can look back and say, when he's on point, this is what he looks like. When you look at these young guys, you're saying, okay, is this just a snapshot of who they are, or is this truly who they are? Time will tell, right? But I think that these young guys apply pressure to Miller. And yes, if Miller comes back and he's not looking good, now we're going to look at the body of work that these young dudes have had and say, maybe we go that route and try that.
What did you settle on with questions about a 6-man rotation? It's what I led this segment off with. It's the first question I got, and I know it's what you guys talked about yesterday.
Listen, the cons of a 6-man rotation, you get less of your starters who are getting it done. Less of Wu, less of Castillo. You kind of hinders the development a little bit of these young guys because now they're resting an extra day. I'm also in the boat of, why not try something different that no one else is really doing? There was a time where you didn't throw a football in football, and someone said, you know what, I'm going to go back and I'm going to toss this thing clear across those mountains, okay? And my receivers
strap on my leather helmet. Imagine the first time someone saw that. They were like, whoa, this guy's got a cannon. It goes 25 yards.
Time out. That's not right. That's not right.
Hang on, let me put out my cigarette.
So I'm the more that I see the guys who are healthy right now on the mound doing their thing, the more I'm not opposed to it, even though I understand the cons of this whole situation. But I'm also thinking, man, if you got 6 guys, 6 legit starters, which most teams don't have, I'm not opposed to it. Give it a try for a little bit, maybe. But that's not how these baseball minds work. That's not how the data works. Everything says you shouldn't do this. Well, a lot of the data, a lot of the baseball minds say you shouldn't do that. But somebody has to break the mold one day and say, you know what? Let's just see what happens.
Okay, so let's say that you are in desperate need of infield help. Maybe a team like Houston has jumped up ahead of you in the standings, but the AL West is still tight, and you've still got great performances from Cal and a couple other guys heading into the deadline. Maybe Julio's starting to heat up, and you think, you know what? The American League is still weird. It's still very weird. It's, let's say, not post-All-Star break. Let's say we're heading into the All-Star break, so we're getting close to that trade deadline. You don't want to move an arm. Do you move more prospects than you'd typically be comfortable with? How aggressive are you? I
think you have to be aggressive. I also knock with the 6-man rotation, you lose an arm in the bullpen. So now you're stressing out the bullpen a bit more. I'm aggressive because we've sat here and watched this team be in a position to make a move and make the playoffs and felt like they didn't do enough. So I'm overly aggressive, honestly, at this point. I think the window is now to win, especially with the arms the way your offense is performing.
Yeah.
That's me, but they're not going to do that.
I'm so glad that the day I'm coming back, I get to immediately jump into my favorite segment we do on the station, which is Get Off My Lawn. I can't wait to hear it. And the best part about Get Off My Lawn is neither Matt Curtis nor I know any of the 3 things that Bump is going to complain about. They're always surprises. And it's a really fun way to have fun on a very beautiful Wednesday, by the way. It's coming your way next.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
What if the Mariners were fully healthy? They had their full complement of everybody in the rotation. You had Robles, you had Raleigh, Brash from the start of the year, I guess, 2. All of those guys are only worth 2 wins?
They're getting it done in a different kind of way. I mean, yeah, I think everything is worked out for a reason.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton. Afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Are you trying to buy a new home, or are you a local real estate agent seeking financing for a client? We're all tired of dealing with banks, credit unions, and endless guidelines. Wouldn't it be nice to go back in time when we had common sense lending? Hi, I'm Scott Rureka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital based in Bellevue. We are one of the largest local private portfolio lenders in Washington. We've helped thousands of home buyers and real estate investors reach their financial goals by leveraging the Legacy Common Sense borrowing platform. What that means is we lend our own money, we make our own decisions. If your deal makes sense, we'll get it done. Whether you're purchasing a new piece of real estate or refinancing an existing loan, bridge loans, construction, or regular home loan, it doesn't have to be as difficult as banks and lenders make it. If you're trying to grow wealth through real estate acquisition, come talk to the experts in private lending.
Call 425-635-4700 or LegacyG.com. Legacy Group Capital, your common sense lender. LegacyG.com.
Upgrade your home cooling before the summer heat with Home Comfort Alliance and save up to $6,000 while taking 18 months to pay with 0 interest. Visit HomeComfortAlliance.com. That's HomeComfortAlliance.com.
Riverside Roofing is offering $1,000 off a new roof replacement. Book a free estimate online, and when you meet with Brandon, that's Don's son, tell him you heard the message on the radio station. Go to riversideroofingllc.com. It's Riverside Roofing, the roofing company you can trust.
Feeling lucky? Don't miss the Lucky Classic Collector Car Truck and Boat Auction, Saturday, May 31st at Tacoma's LeMay Marymount Event Center. Hundreds of cars, vintage, muscle, exotic, classics, trucks, boats, and more. Saturday, May 31st at Tacoma's LeMay Marymount Event Center. Millions of dollars in inventory, many must sell with no reserve whatsoever. Get lucky, get local, and get in line for the Northwest's greatest collector car auction. Auction details at luckyoldcar.com.
The success you've already had matters at University of Maryland Global Campus because we're a school for real life. An accredited state university, UMGC lets you earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning, life, and work experience, or transfer up to 12 credits toward a master's. We offer affordable tuition and online and hybrid courses. No application fee if you apply by May 30th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/fax or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
At Lake Washington Windows and Doors, we offer premium windows that are 25% more energy efficient, reduce noise by 50%, and come with clean glass technology. And Leak Armor installation gives you a lifetime warranty to protect your home. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com.
Lake Washington Windows and Doors makes it easy to enjoy new windows with clean glass technology now and defer paying for them until 2026 with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for 12 months. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com.
The home of the Mariners.
It is gone! Cal Raleigh, 2-run home run!
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, Mike Salk here, and great news. This August, luxury awaits at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. Yes, the hotel is finally opening. You can book now for an unforgettable summer experience at snocasino.com. Breathtaking views of the Cascades in Snoqualmie Valley, an expanded non-smoking gaming floor, awesome destination spa, a 2,000-seat entertainment space and convention center, and yes, new food venues, restaurants as well. You can book at snocasino.com. Seattle's closest. It's now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
Business leaders know to solve a problem, you got to look at it in a new way. Like travel between Seattle and Portland. Why is it such a pain? I-5 traffic, TSA slowdowns, SeaTac hassles. Seaport removes those pain points. We fly out of Boeing Field and a private terminal at PDX. You park for free, steps away from your plane. And with flights every 45 minutes, you're always home for dinner. Problem solved. Seaport Airlines. It's about time.
Have you considered surgery or even joint replacement? Hey, it's Dave Wyman, and before you make that decision, see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Why? Because he gives it to you straight. Dr. Wagner said my right knee needs replacement, and I appreciate his honesty and expertise. My left knee is fine right now, but the minute it isn't, I'm heading to Dr. Wagner for his expert opinion. I want to avoid another surgery, and I've heard so many patients rave about results from their 90-minute outpatient stem cell procedure with Dr. Wagner. He's a board-certified Seattle physician with over 30 years of experience and has performed more than 20,000 stem cell procedures using a person's own stem cells to regenerate cartilage in their own joints. People with severe osteoarthritis, even bone on bone, are back doing what they enjoy without pain and without surgery. Whether it's a shoulder, hip, elbow, ankle, wrist, or knee, before choosing surgery, see Dr. Mark Wagner first. Go to drmarkwagnermd.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Every single Wednesday at 10:45, Michael Bumpus has 3 things he needs to complain about, and it's actually a really fun segment. This time, Matt, Curtis, and myself have made bets between the 3 of us as to what we think is going to be covered. Matt went with kids/the youth.
The youths.
Curtis went with youth sports parents, and I went with weather. 3 very
ones.
old man things to talk about. So what do we got today? And get off my lawn.
Yep.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
First one, I've been a victim of this, okay? And we do this sometimes because this is our job. You know, this is why we are here, to make predictions and all that good stuff. Can we stop crowning athletes too early? Like, we're always looking for the next. And what inspired this was Anthony Edwards, because people are disappointed with his performance in the playoffs so far. And all on ESPN, they're saying he's the next face of the league. He's this and he's that and he's third. And I'm thinking, well, listen, there's a guy named SGA who's balling right now. The Joker ain't going nowhere. Halliburton's doing his thing as well. Hey, stop trying to crown these guys. And I've done it before, too, because I fell into the trap with Julio Rodriguez. I'm like, he's going to be the next superstar. He ain't a superstar yet, right? And like Michelle Wie, when she was a kid, she won a tournament like at 11 years of age. And people thought she's going to be the next greatest golfer of all time. She won 1 major in her whole career. Jeremy Lin, remember Lin Sanity?
Yeah.
People were going crazy. Where is he now? My man had like 1 good year, and it was a wrap for him. Charlie Woods. Everyone wants to crown Charlie Woods as the next best whatever. He hasn't even ascended the way he's supposed to. But I understand why people do it, because we want to be the first to say things.
Yeah.
We want to look into the future. We want to crown people. But I'm going to stop doing it myself, all right? Because I'm looking for the next whatever, the next Pat Mahomes, the next Michael Jordan, the next Kobe, whatever. But I'm watching ESPN, and for all this year, they're talking about Anthony Edwards. He ain't even been to the finals yet. He hasn't been to the finals. He's done not absolutely nothing, but he hasn't even done enough. He hasn't done what half of the league has done when it comes to their stars. So let's just pump the brakes on crowning these young people so easily and just use the word potential. They have the potential to be something great. They have the potential to do this or that and the third. I understand why we do it, because it's fun when we get it right. I've been right a couple times on some things. It is absolutely fun when we do it, but can we chill on that?
No, that's a really good one. I didn't see that one coming, as evidenced by our guest as to what the topics would be today.
One of y'all
but that's
got
a really
one.
good one. Really?
Yeah, one of y'all got
I
one.
can't wait to see which one of us it was. Okay, what's next?
I'm a man. I'm 40.
All right, I went to this cool little spot on Saturday or Sunday. It's called the Crystal Creek Cafe.
Okay.
It's in Bothell, right? And they have a restaurant area where the wait was like 30 to 40 minutes. I'm like, man, I don't know if I want to wait. Then I look across the restaurant, and there's a bar area. I'm like, cool. I see 2 seats open at the bar. I'm going to the bar. Is there a wait? No, we're good. And there's 2 TVs up, right? And on the TVs, the Mariners are playing, right? And there's Mariner hats in there. We're watching the game. We're eating.
Okay.
It's all good. Someone sits down and requests another team, not from Seattle, to be put on the TV. And I looked at him. I go, sir, this is Seattle, or the Seattle area, I should say. What team are you looking for? He's like the Tigers or something like that. I go, no one here cares about the Tigers, man. I go, look around. You see all these Mariners hats? I go, you cannot go into a bar with 2 TVs and ask that the bartender change the channel for you. You got to look at the masses. Like, know the crowd, read the room. If you're at Buffalo Wild Wings, you got like 50, 60 TVs in there. You go ahead and do that.
Yeah.
But the audacity of
With
this
only
young
2
man.
TVs?
Young man, too, about 25, 26. I had to son him real quick. Like, listen, son.
Ooh.
All right? You see all these Seattle Caps in here. Like,
Yeah.
people are here to watch this game. No one cares about the Tigers. I know they're having a great season in first place and all that good stuff, but he didn't read the room. Then he looks around and he said, essentially, you right, OG. You got this. So if you are from out of town, if you root for a different team, and there are 2 TVs in a small little bar,
be aware.
Don't you dare ask the bartender to change the channel for you.
No.
You got to think about the masses, the people who are in there.
Well, and then go to a sports bar. Go to, like you said, Buffalo Wild Wings, Buckley's, a place with like 5 TVs on every single wall. Because the point of those bars is that you go and you say, hey, can I put like this random Jets game on? Or can I put, the point is that out-of-town sports fans can go and watch like random games, obscure games, non-local college teams, whatever it is. With only 2 TVs, the point is that the people on the other side of the bar can still see.
Exactly.
It's about viewing ability, not about, well, you already have it on that TV. Yeah, but the people on that side of the bar can't see it.
You know, when my sons do something, or my kids in general, and they're not aware, I just be like, awareness 30. Because you know how they rate you like in Madden and 2K. His awareness was like 25.
Oh, young people awareness.
Young people
Matt,
awareness.
that doesn't count. Okay, what's next?
I'm back. Last
I'm
one.
a man. I'm 40.
Washingtonians, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this.
One of us is right.
Especially you golfers. All right? Stop complaining about the dang weather.
Yes!
Okay? Yes! I'm sitting there talking to my dude, and he's a golfer. We golf all the time.
Woo!
I hit him up in January, February, March. Oh, it's too cold, man. It's too cold. Yesterday was, 70-something degrees? Oh, it's too hot. Make up your mind, all right? If you are about this golf life, you get out there and you play regardless. That is the worst. Like, people complain, and Washingtonians in general complain about the heat all the time. But then you complain about the cold. Then you complain about the rain, all right? Get used to it. It's like when the weather changes and people don't know how to drive. You've grown up here. You've driven in this your whole life, so stop complaining about this dang heat, especially if you are a golfer. Get your butt out there, sweat it out, drink your water, have a little cocktail on the side, make sure you get a snack, be a grown person, and take care of yourself. I'm tired of hearing people complain about this dang weather. When you've been complaining about the cold and the rain, then you get some nice weather, and now you're scared to do anything. Get your butt outside and get some sun rays.
So first of all, credit to me, who really did write down weather golf as my guess.
I think Stacy cheated. I think
didn't
Bump had
cheat.
it written down on a pad somewhere.
No, the vibe I was getting
foul.
when we were in today and I said it's so nice out, like, are you going to go golfing later? Bump said no. And then I was like, oh, he's thinking about golfing. He's been thinking about how he wishes he could get out there and golf.
Yeah.
So I didn't anticipate it would be that. But I will say that as a Seattleite, I am very guilty of complaining about the weather when it is on. Curtis, why are you nodding so feverishly?
It's just that, training camp is 2 months away. And every time we're out there, you're either complaining about how cold it is.
Because we get there so early. Sometimes
and
it
then,
is cold.
by the time 1 o'clock rolls around, you're like, it is so hot.
Yeah, because it's like a microwave with the cement. It's so bad. It does. It fluctuates. It's never a comfortable temperature. It is either 60 degrees or 90 degrees. Like, it is one of the two. But I am of that population of people from Seattle who, like, between 69 and 80 degrees. Nice. That's like where we're comfortable. And anything outside of that, for some people, even like a 78 is too much.
It's too much. I got my buddies complaining about it. I got random people walking down the street complaining about it. This is what you wanted. And then they say at the same time, oh, this is what keeps you here. Look at this weather. Some Washingtonian stuff. This is why you stay. Days like this. Then stop complaining about 71 degrees.
We do it. We do. I tell all the players, it's so tired to hear me say it. I'm going to go, just wait till you see the summers. You're going to love it.
June,
and then
July.
The second those summers hit, I'm going to be like, I hate it today. Curtis, I'm so hot. Can we get fans? Curtis, I'm so cold. Can we get blankets?
Stacy, we're back in 30 seconds. I can't help you here.
I agree with our texter that texted in and said, I think people just in general like complaining. That is correct.
Yeah.
I love complaining. I love it. Not a ton to complain about when it comes to the Mariners, particularly Cal Raleigh. So let's talk about him with Yahoo Sports' Jordan Shusterman. He joins us next.
Home cooking. That's what I'm talking about. Some garlic fries, of course, some Moto pizza out in the pan. Man, so good. The first-place Mariners return home with a bang.
Cal Raleigh with another home run.
Tonight, they go for 2 straight in Game 2 against the Nationals. Wyman and Bob take you up to pregame at 5:30. First pitch at 6:40 on the home of the Mariners and the race for the AL West. Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Hey guys, did you know that half of men over age 50 have erectile dysfunction on some level? Whether you have mild, moderate, or severe ED, West Coast Men's Health can help. We don't prescribe pills and hope they work. Instead, we treat the root cause of the problem with acoustic wave therapy, which breaks down plaque, unclogs arteries, and restores blood flow. We have treated thousands of men across our 11 locations nationwide and have established ourselves as a leader in the industry. So whether you have ED, Peyronie's disease, or suffer from chronic pain, such as neuropathy, carpal tunnel, or Dupuytren's contracture, West Coast Men's Health can help. No pills, no shots, no surgery, just results.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call West Coast Men's Health at 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Nia.
Hi, Nia. It's Jennifer. Did you know that Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, I work here.
Okay. I was just double checking. Get it?
Because Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Oh, you get me, Nia.
You could say that I double get you.
I guess we've taken it too far.
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
For a lot of us, saving up a down payment can be the biggest barrier to buying a home. So Rocket Mortgage is lowering down payments to 1% for eligible home buyers with ONE+. Because everyone deserves their shot at the American dream. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to get a head start on your starter home.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC, licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org, number 3030.
This just in. The NFL schedule has dropped, and you know what that means. It's go time. Adam Schefter here with the Insider Tip. If you're trying to catch your team live this season, Vivid Seats is the move. For the best selection of games and seats, it's time to snap your tickets up now. Vivid Seats has great deals on great seats and the only rewards program in the game. It's no wonder they're the official ticketing partner of ESPN. So don't wait. Head to vividseats.com or download the app and lock in those game days.
Summer's here, and seasonal businesses are hiring. Everything from hiking guides to surf instructors and more. Whether you're hiring for one of these roles or any other role, you need ZipRecruiter to find qualified candidates fast. ZipRecruiter's smart technology gets to work as soon as you post a job, diving in to find great matches and showing you top picks right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/USL to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/USL.
Need assistance with door and window projects? The Home Depot can help. From inspiration and materials to ordering and installation, our free Millwork virtual apron service can get you moving and doing. Plus, we speak Spanish too. Our associates can help you tackle complex jobs without you leaving the job site, saving you time and money. Call us at 1-833-HD-APRON or visit homedepot.com/MVA. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
This just in. The NFL schedule has dropped, And you know what that means. It's go time. Adam Schefter here with the insider tip. If you're trying to catch your team live this season, Vivid Seats is the move. For the best selection of games and seats, it's time to snap your tickets up now. Vivid Seats has great deals on great seats and the only rewards program in the game. It's no wonder they're the official ticketing partner of ESPN. So don't wait. Head to vividseats.com or download the app and lock in those game days.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Terry Bradshaw, not a fan of the Steelers pursuing or signing Aaron Rodgers, the latter of whom remains a free agent, though has been widely speculated as a future Steelers quarterback. On with ESPN and then also the Buzz in Arkansas, Bradshaw said, "It's a joke. It's just a joke. What are you going to do? Bring him in for a year? Are you kidding me? That guy needs to stay in California." Steelers right now with a lot of question marks in that quarterback room have a rookie and also Mason Rudolph.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Yahoo Sports, Jordan Shusterman joining us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Jordan, we are going to start with Cal Raleigh's unbelievable night. I should say unbelievable season. Tell me what you're seeing from him this year.
Yeah, it's the same kind of thing I believe we talked about last week, right? That power from the right side. The fact that we are looking at a switch hitter that is not just occasionally hit one out from the right while mostly doing damage on the left. He is a legitimate threat from the right side of the plate, and obviously seeing that last night was another reminder of that.
Also, we saw a young arm kind of find his groove last night, man. It's crazy that this rotation has been able to kind of keep this team afloat with all the injuries that have been going on. Is it just us? I mean, what's the reputation of this? Is it just they really do have a pitching factory, and what do you think they're doing to help develop these guys?
Yeah, Logan Evans has been an awesome story, and especially seeing young pitchers go that deep into the game. I know there was some discourse. Oh, let him finish it. Let him get the complete game. 8 innings from a rookie pitcher in basically any situation is a massive win, and that should not be overlooked whatsoever. And I know the Nationals aren't necessarily the best lineup, but I thought that was a really, really big moment for him.
We were just discussing a bit earlier kind of what this team does with these guys, right? Like if it was still, December, we'd be going like, oh my God, get rid of whatever arms you can because your starting rotation's amazing and you don't need those extra arms. And now I'm wondering if we should even look at Logan or Emerson Hancock for that matter as trade pieces at all. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a good question. I still have to imagine, and I think this was probably true in the offseason, but now especially when, as you're pointing out, we are seeing Emerson and Logan contribute at the major league level already. I have to imagine that the front office is going to be more focused on deciding which prospects they are willing to part with. This is still, as we know, one of the best farm systems in baseball, and as much as we all love to hug our prospects, I have to imagine that the route that the organization is going to prefer to take, especially when you are in a playoff race, is to trade not from the major league roster. And listen, it's not fun to part with the guys you think are the next wave, the next future, but that's when you're in a competitive window like this, that is the responsible thing to do. I would say that is the aggressive and sensible thing to do. So I expect the team, I'm sure teams are calling and they'd love to have Logan Evans and Emerson Hancock, whatever. It's way more likely that I think they trade from the farm.
Hey, when we look at this roster, there are a lot of familiar names, right? Crawford, Rodriguez, Cal, Rosarena from halfway through the season last year. And, they're getting a lot of praise because of the philosophy, their approach at the plate. And, Seitzer and then Edgar are getting a lot of love, too. Like, how much love or praise should the coaches get, or how much is it just the player going out there and executing?
That's the eternal question, right? Like, how much are these coaches making a difference? It's certainly easy when you change the staff over like we saw at the end of last year, and suddenly they start raking after being offensively inept for at least 2 or 3 months in the middle of last season. And this year we talked about it. It's carried over. I think what we've seen is some of the strong parts of the offense are already in place, which in a lot of cases is taking a lot of walks. and then you're kind of adding in some more components. You're cutting down on the swing and miss a little bit, and it's working. But I do think that you mentioned some of those names. I think we are remembering that J.P. Crawford was one of the best, shortstops of baseball a couple years ago. We know what Cal Raleigh's capable of. We know Julio's capable of. We know Randy Arozarena's track record. I don't think we should necessarily undersell the personnel involved. I mean, these are good players with track records of being good hitters. And so the fact that they are all now doing it together, I mean, we should not credit the coaching staff, but we also shouldn't act like they are making this offense completely out of players that do not already have a history of being good hitters in the major leagues.
We'll cycle back to Seattle for several other questions, but Baseball Barbie Cast, your podcast with Jake Mintz, obviously taking a look around the league. What's, Jordan, maybe the biggest story to you catching your eye this week, the most interesting thing?
I have to say that the Boston Red Sox have my attention for all the wrong reasons. We talked a little bit about it on the podcast this week. In fact, that co-host Jake Mintz is actually in the car with me right now, and he also has some thoughts about the Red Sox. But this is my radio spot, so I'm not going to
take that, Jake.
Jake's here. He is here,
hey,
but he's not here to talk about the Mariners. But no, the Red Sox, their struggles have been confounding. We were both pretty sold on the talent in place. We are believers in Alex Cora. I mean, the front office has certainly had some low points over the past few years, but we looked at the team and said, listen, that's a lot of good baseball players, and it has just not clicked, at least not all at the same time. They still have some things going right for them, but they are entering a difficult stage here where patience is obviously running thin in Boston, and there's no surprise there.
Hey, we know Judge is having just a ridiculous season, obviously swinging the bat well. But we got a guy over here by the name of Cal Raleigh. You might know him. And yesterday, my buddy Curtis put it out there like, man, he should be considered in the MVP race. We know it's Aaron's award to lose, but what do you think about Cal getting some love there?
Yeah, so I'm writing about kind of the top three in each award race this week at Yahoo. And, I mean, Cal's right there at number 3 for me. I think Judge is in his own category, and it's just kind of a waste of time to discuss someone other than him, as long as he's hitting, 390 and has all the home runs that he has. But I mean, Cal's going to be right there. And, Bobby Witt Jr., who kind of ascended to the obvious number 2 last year, I think is still in that conversation this year, but you could also say he hasn't been as good as he was last season, and Cal has elevated. So, and if you're looking at, the best player on the team, now Bobby is so far and away the best player on his team in the way that Cal does have a little bit more, as we just talked about, like they have or other good hitters in a way that the Royals don't necessarily have. But when you factor in what Cal, as we've talked about so much, what he factors in on defense, it's a very unique amount of impact, and I have to imagine we've started to see him get that national recognition, but I think that it will only elevate if he hits 30-plus homers again and is catching 110 games for this team.
He should get an award for finishing second.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, like, it's impossible to replicate or do anything of what Aaron Judge is doing, and it's like you almost want to give the tip of the cap to someone going, oh, you came so close, and really second place any other year is maybe first. So good for you, Cal.
Sure,
it's one of the weirdest quirks about this team is they've had. And I'm not quite including Cal in this yet. His career's still ongoing, even though he's having just a historically great season. They've had some of the best players ever, and obviously don't have the World Series appearance to show for it. But when I think of, like, fan favorite baseball players, Griffey, Ichiro, also 2 players who came so close to being unanimous Hall of Famers, with like 4 votes between them, keeping them from that. I'm like, how, Mariners? Make it make sense. You've had A-Rod. Like, you've had amazing players with this team.
That Felix fellow is pretty good.
Pretty solid.
Pretty much the whole reason I started watching the Mariners all the time. So he certainly stands out in that regard. But yeah, I mean, the fact that we're talking about Cal in that regard, and I think with Cal and Julio, I mean, this is where the extensions become so important, right? Because that they are building blocks for a long time that are going to mean a lot to the organization. And in Cal's case, because of what happened in 22, he was kind of always going to have that. But the fact that he's kept getting better since then, makes it that much better. And the fact that he's going to be there for a very long time for both of them just is pretty cool to have both of them at the same time.
Obviously, we keep our eye out on other teams in the AL West. We just lost to the Astros 3-1. And then I'm listening to something yesterday. I hear Altuve had another game where he hit 2 bombs. How are the Astros looking? I mean, is this the time of year where they start to turn that corner and look like a contending team again?
Yeah, that's a great question. We were actually just discussing that in our ride the earlier. We were talking about the Astros. It's like, okay, are we going to see them do this again? We just got news that Ronel Blanco is going to be out for the year, which is not good for their pitching staff. They have also, dealing with pitching injuries is a pretty standard part of the 2025 baseball experience. So no team is getting through the season with everybody for the most part. I know the Mariners basically did it last year, but Houston now, but they got McCullers back, right? So you have some guys that maybe are going to start to make an impact. Maybe their roster is going to get stronger as the season goes on. I think what is always interesting with Houston in particular is that front office, which has made some interesting decisions over the last few years. We know they're going to be aggressive. Now, they still do not have an especially good farm system, but it is still a group that I expect, if they are in the mix and think they can win the AL West again, they are going to try and make a trade for someone impactful. I don't know if that's going to be on the mound because they've had some more injuries. I don't know if that is going to be on offense because some of their hitters have seriously underperformed. I think what is most scary about them is the fact that they're right in the mix and they have gotten 0 from Yordan Alvarez so far. So I don't expect that to remain the whole season. Obviously, they need to get him healthy and get him going again. But for them to even still be in here with him being a total non-factor to this point, I think says a lot to guys like Jeremy Pena and some of the other players on that roster.
Far be it from me to tell a GM or a front office what to do. But that being said, Jordan, your answer just makes me think of Seattle's front office and almost wishing that I could jump into the room and be like, Jerry, Justin, listen, the Astros are going to be aggressive and get this thing done. Like, if there were a message that in your mind you're like, I wish the Mariners front office would take this approach. It doesn't have to be a name that they add, Jordan, but it could just be what kind of philosophy would you want them to have at the deadline? This is an interesting start to the season for Seattle.
Yeah, and honestly, again, like I understand the off seasons have been very disappointing for a lot of reasons, and that's all fans are right to be frustrated, and a lot of that has more to do with the financial stuff. But we have seen this group be aggressive at the deadline with Luis Castillo. We saw it with Randy Arozarena last year, and I expect them to do it again. And that's back to what I was saying earlier. Like, they have the prospects to trade. We are still just not close enough to understanding which teams are selling, and so it's just a lot harder to be like, that's the guy. So I expect them to be in the mix, and because they have good prospects, like, they should be able to make the best offer on a lot of these people, on a lot of these candidates. We just don't know who those players are yet, and we also just don't know if there is going to be a player that is that much of a difference maker. But I do not think they're just going to sit around and hope that this team is good enough as is. There are still clearly holes on the roster, really on both sides of the ball, and I don't think they're going to pass up on the opportunity to make a real move, especially knowing that Houston has a reputation of being aggressive in the same way.
Is it way too early for me to wonder if, like, Baltimore is going to be a seller? Their season's very weird. Very weird and very bad.
Jake Mintz, the Orioles fan here is.
I'm sorry, Jake. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, but it's relevant. They are absolutely trending towards the most interesting team at the deadline because they do have some shorter-term pieces like a Cedric Mullins on the mound, like a Zach Eflin that teams are going to be calling about. And while it's not like the Orioles are going into a rebuild. As a front office, as you can imagine, being like, listen, we are X games back. This is not a team that is going anywhere. Let's trade a Ryan O'Hearn who looks like an all-star. Let's trade a Mullins. Let's trade an Eflin, maybe some of the other pitchers, some of the other relievers. So that would not surprise me at all if they do a bit more of a reload, kind of the way that we saw with like Toronto in recent years, where you're trading for pieces that you still think can help soon, if not this season. That is what I would expect. Like Tampa Bay has kind of executed those things. I think they are certainly the team to watch because they do have a lot of stuff to move, and I think they would be willing to do it.
Hey, there are some topics that tend to stick, right? It never really happens, but people talk about it. Like for the Seahawks, it's like, oh, well, Milroe, how many snaps will he get at quarterback? We're going to have 10 plays for him, and then we'll probably hardly see him throughout the season. Now with the Mariners, I'm looking at just that 6-man rotation talk. I've heard it. I've heard the Cardinals talk about it. The Dodgers talk about it, but no one actually really does it. Do you see a situation here in Seattle where it actually goes down?
I think the funniest thing about 6-man rotation talk to me is so often the team's pitching plans are changing like day to day that to act like you can institute a very rigid 6-man schedule that is going to sustain for many weeks, let alone months, is just so unrealistic. And I understand it is born out of the fact that you think, oh, well, now we're going to have all these starters. Guess what? You probably aren't going to have all those starters. I mean, I would love for all these guys to be healthy. But you just mentioned the Dodgers. We started the season, oh, how are they going to make room for Clayton Kershaw? Well, guess what? We're about to watch Clayton Kershaw pitch here in Cleveland, and they need him. It's not even June, and they're like, please, Clayton Kershaw, we need you to pitch as much as possible. That's just how – now, the Dodgers are an extreme case of that, but – it's hard for me to take the six-man rotation seriously when it's just like, really, how many teams actually have 6 healthy starters right now? It basically doesn't exist anywhere in the league. And if the Mariners are so lucky to have everybody healthy and pitching well, we can talk about it when we get there. But it just projecting and being like, oh, look at all these great 6 pitchers, we got to use all these guys. It's just not a thing that usually ends up actually happening.
Okay, kind of a weird question for me on this one, Jordan. It's going to be more a look-around baseball type question, but a fun one. As part of the show, we're talking about it a bit later, but we were also talking about it in the sports pit and a bit at the beginning of the show of just kind of what's the most untouchable Seattle athlete? So I was going to broaden that scope for you. Who's the most untouchable player in baseball? Meaning, this was how we defined it. This guy could commit a crime, and there would still be people that are like, God love him, though. Like, they just like.
Well, we have an interesting example of that.
Oh, no, Jordan. Are you saying Ohtani, Jordan?
No, I'm not. But I'm saying the way that people do and don't respond to it is still, that is a pretty high-profile reaction. We have been pretty firmly team Ohtani did nothing wrong because all we think he cares about, because all of the evidence says, is that the only thing that matters to him is being the best baseball player in the world. And that is, I think, backed up by the fact that he's the best baseball player in the world and the way that everybody that has actually been around him talks about him.
Also, someone would have seen him watching like midweek college soccer at some point.
Yeah. Right. So I don't know. I mean, again, if we're talking, untouchable, we talk about it like a trade standpoint. But if we're talking just about like favorability ratings, like, I mean, some of the younger, it is interesting because you have some players that you thought everybody would like all the time. Soto has moved in because of the teams that he's played for, has gathered some people and the money. He has people that are rooting against him. I think that, Bobby Witt is. I don't know a lot of people rooting against Bobby Witt. I would say Bobby Witt is our Trout. He is this Trout. Trout. He's basically Trout now. And Trout, I don't think anyone is ever rooting against Trout.
Right.
So, and that is not a small thing, because for most time, if you have a lot of success, you're either going to have jealousy from other fans, from other players. And Bobby Witt, to me, is the one who probably has the highest approval rating, both within the game and among casual fans.
I have a firm belief that Ichiro is the most representative of this ever. And I think about it as like, who has the fewest haters.
Yeah.
Like, the number of people that were ever rooting against Ichiro is so low.
Yeah.
Now, part of that is because the Mariners stunk for a large point.
They were
Look, you're not going to hurt our feelings.
Yeah, like Rangers fans don't hate the guy because the Mariners are like 9 back.
We've never been Team Iceland. You know what I mean? It's tough.
Well, and also, right, if Ichiro was like eliminating a bunch of people in the postseason, maybe people would be a little tired of him.
This is for my Orioles question.
Right. So, right, exactly. So so that's the thing. So Bobby Witt stands out to me right now as someone who's just like, no, because honestly, it's easy for me to be like, how can you possibly dislike Julio? But Julio carries all this stuff because when you are slightly not as good as what people expect, then people are like, overrated. But Bobby's been on such an upward trajectory that at no point has there been time for people to be like overrated. So he's in such a kind of a good place right now. And again, I think a lot of that stuff is, of course, unfair to Julio, unfair to some of the other young players where the standards are that high. But I do think Bobby Witt is pretty unique in that sense. I mean, Skeens is another one that is interesting, but I think he also has some haters in kind of a weird way that we don't necessarily agree with, because it like all happened so fast for him that it's like you almost refuse to believe that he could possibly be that good that fast, having just been in the Air Force 3 years ago. So there's a level to it. And then Ohtani is the ultimate one from the jealousy standpoint, from just like, there's no, like, come on, like, all we talk about him is, why are we posting about him all the time? It's like, well, because he's the most important player. He's the one that gathers the most eyeballs. Like, he is the best. Like, let's not overthink this. Like, it's not an accident that he's the one we're all talking about.
So one other interesting one is Fernando Tatis Jr. to me, because like, he was untouchable and then he got popped for taking steroids.
Yeah.
And in a lot of ways, his reputation on the public side hasn't changed.
Yeah. People
right?
really like Tatis.
People still buy jerseys and watch him and celebrate him, and like not that we swept it under the rug, but like it's kind of been overlooked. That's not the case inside the game. Players remember that kind of thing. But Tatis's perception, that feels like an interesting example to me.
Yeah, that's a really good one. When it comes to players I really like Tatis, I just kind of live my truth. I'm like, well, that's what other people thought. Other people thought he got popped for PEDs, but that's not my truth. So I don't know what to tell you. This was a fun answer. I loved your guys' answers to these. You guys can hear more from Jordan Shusterman of Yahoo Sports and Jake. We got some bonus Jake Mintz here on Baseball Barbie Cast. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Talk to you next week.
Have a good one. Let's get to 4 Down territory.
This is 4 Down territory, going inside the game. What former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
A very quick 4 Down territory. It's like a 2-minute drill. First down. Why do you disagree with Terry Bradshaw?
Terry's saying they shouldn't pursue Aaron Rodgers. Terry, who's going to be a quarterback over there with the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Terry's trying to get that job.
He's trying to come back.
He said, let me come out of retirement.
Look, I understand Aaron Rodgers is making this situation difficult, but you got Mason Rudolph, Will Howard, and Skylar Thompson over there. If you get 1 year of Aaron Rodgers, you will take that 1 year of Aaron Rodgers. Terry, calm thyself. I know you're old school. You don't like the way he's handling this, but he's your best option. You don't want Mason. Will ain't ready, and Skylar's thrown like 10 passes in his whole career.
Second down. You disagree with someone else.
Yeah.
Why don't you agree with Mike Vrabel?
So I don't know if you saw Stephon Diggs on the boat with Cardi B and a whole bunch of girls and
some
stuff
other
dancing.
stuff.
You know what I mean? Like he was having himself a good time.
He was having a great time.
And Mike Vrabel kind of alluded to he's making poor decisions off the field. This is always who Stephon Diggs has been. He's a guy who's going to the galas, he's going to the fashion shows, and you know what? And every year he's going to give you 1,000 yards. So if I were Vrabel, I wouldn't say like I condone what he's doing, but I would say, look, it's off season. This is his time. He shows up every single year. He has a track record of being one of the best receivers in the game. I just didn't like the way he handled that because Stephon Diggs can live differently than the average receiver in the NFL.
Yeah.
He's got, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 straight years of 1,000 yards. Probably would have went for 1,000 last year if he didn't get banged up. Vrabel's a no-nonsense type of guy, but in this situation, he was a player. You got to understand that. He is just different. He's a celebrity. He's dating Cardi B. Like, his lifestyle is just completely different than anyone else on your roster.
I would have loved it if Mike Vrabel, instead of chastising Diggs for being there, was chastising him for talking to other women with his girlfriend on the boat. You know what? I wish he would have been like, wow, that's just not how, that's not the Patriot way.
Not cool, man.
We simply don't talk to other women when you know that your wife or girlfriend is on the boat. Be respectful. Like he was just gossiping. Third down. What's the hardest thing for coaches when it comes to OTAs?
Offensive line and defensive line evaluation. There are guys who are going to get cut after OTAs, and you really don't know what they can do. It's almost like it's a lot of projecting going on, right? You're trying to understand, okay, well, his hands is here, his feet are there. It's just so hard to evaluate offensive line and defensive line. I think the main thing when evaluating that position during OTAs, it's all about the mental. Can they pick up the box and do the right things when it comes to blocking? But OTAs, I feel bad for the O-line coach, the D-line coach. There's nothing for you there. There's a little bit, but it's not like on the outside of the perimeter. We're talking about quarterbacks, receivers, and whatnot.
Fourth down. We're at third down again. Hope Mike Lefko's listening. What are the Titans doing that can cause some confusion?
Head coach, what's his name? Callahan? See, I forgot his name. Anyway,
I know it's Brian.
Brian Callahan.
Callahan. Head coach for the Titans. He's saying all the quarterbacks will rotate with the ones. Why? You already seen the Will Levis project. Brandon Allen, no. Tim Boyle, no. You drafted Cam Ward, number 1.
I hate
Unless
this
he's not going to be your guy, you want Will Levis to start the season, let Will get all the reps or 80% of the reps with the ones. Not Cam Ward. If Cam's going to be your guy, let Cam get most of the reps with the ones. All the quarterbacks will be in rotation.
Yeah.
That's messy. That's sloppy. It's confusing. You need your cadence right, the chemistry. I hate that for the Titans.
It's just one of the most confusing things that teams do, and it's not the first time we've seen a head coach do that. And the point is you want to make your first overall pick, or in latter years, maybe it's your second, third, fourth overall pick, feel like they need to earn the job. On the other hand, you're taking away invaluable reps.
Yeah.
by doing that. Why don't you just say, yeah, he's going to work with the ones, like in an ideal world, he's set to be our starter in week 1 and we don't want to take those reps away. But the second he slacks and the second that he proves he's not here to win, and you don't have to worry about that with Cam. Everything we've heard about Cam Ward is like he's the hardest worker.
Great leader,
Just
hardest worker.
Stop hiding behind this
I don't
stupid
like that move.
fake competition. All right, coming up in the timeline, Kalen DeBoer is fighting a losing battle. Don't go anywhere.
Home cooking. That's what I'm talking about. Some garlic fries, of course, some Moto pizza out in the pen. Man, so good. The first place Mariners return home with a bang.
Cal Raleigh with another home run.
Tonight, they go for 2 straight in Game 2 against the Nationals. Wyman and Bob take you up to pregame at 5:30. First pitch at 6:40 on the home of the Mariners and the race for the AL West. Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
Feeling lucky? Don't miss the Lucky Classic Collector Car Truck and Boat Auction, Saturday, May 31st at Tacoma's LeMay Marymount Event Center. Hundreds of cars, vintage, muscle, exotic, classics, trucks, boats, and more. Saturday, May 31st at Tacoma's LeMay Marymount Event Center. Millions of dollars in inventory, many must sell with no reserve whatsoever. Get lucky, get local, and get in line for the Northwest's greatest collector car auction. Auction details at luckyoldcar.com.
Hey, Mike Salk here, and great news. This August, luxury awaits at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. Yes, the hotel is finally opening. You can book now for an unforgettable summer experience at snocasino.com. Breathtaking views of the Cascades in Snoqualmie Valley, an expanded non-smoking gaming floor, awesome destination spa, a 2,000-seat entertainment space and convention center, and yes, new food venues, restaurants as well. You can book at snocasino.com. Seattle's closest. It's now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
Progressive knows road trips without your pet can be tough.
Hi, this is Next Stop Dog Boarding.
Hi, it's Scott again. How's Squeaks doing? You can tell if he's stressed by his eyebrows. Oh, and his breathing should sound like this.
Scott, Squeaks is exactly the same as last time you called.
Okay, let's talk in 20 to see if anything's changed.
With Progressive, your pet is covered up to $1,000 in vet bills in case of a car accident. So next time, you can take your pet with you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Coverage for dogs and cats is included with the purchase of collision coverage and subject to policy terms.
During National Military Appreciation Month, we at University of Maryland Global Campus say thank you to the service members, veterans, and families who dedicate their lives to our country. We are deeply grateful. For over 75 years, UMGC has proudly served the military community, from installations overseas to the communities you call home. Wherever you serve, we stand with you. Learn more at umgc.edu/thanks. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chef.
The Mariners are giving you more baseball for your buck. With Mariners Value Games, score seats for as little as $11 on select dates all season long. Plus, check out the expanded Mariners Value menu and beers available every game. Enjoy ballpark classics like hot dogs and nachos for less than $5 and a great selection of brews starting at just $5. Go to mariners.com/value to grab your tickets and check out the full slate of value options at T-Mobile Park.
The home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Cal swinging a drive, deep to right field.
Every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
1-877 Cards for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids. 1-877 Cards for Kids. Donate your card today.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car, running or not, can be picked up as soon as the next day. You'll get a maximum tax deduction and a vacation voucher.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Are you worried about economic conditions, tariffs, and inflation? Are you tired of trying to time the stock market? Maybe it's time to take a little risk off the table given current market volatility. For stability, there's no better option than Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, a fixed return of 9%. Hi, I'm Scott Rirucka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. We've been running local real estate investment funds for over 18 years with zero investor losses, averaging double-digit returns since inception, and we also accept IRAs. Over 1,000 local investors have invested over $250 million in our Legacy family of funds. Feeling uneasy? Don't gamble your hard-earned money or risk your retirement. Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, returning 9%, has limited openings for new investors right now.
Call 425-635-4700 or visit LegacyG.com. That's LegacyG.com. This is not investment advice. Legacy investments available to accredited investors only. Details at LegacyG.com.
This is The Timeline
with Bump and Stacy.
Brought to you by 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
You gotta let it go, Kalen. Look, I love Kalen DeBoer. He oversaw maybe the best season I've ever seen from the Washington Huskies. Again, me personally, having been a dog, the most fun I've ever had watching a season. And I'm grateful for that. And I'm rooting for Kalen out there with Alabama because that SEC supremacy, they constantly think like, oh, you know, these West Coast guys, they just can't hack it. And I've had enough of it. That being said, Kalen, you need to let this go. You need to let it go. First story in the timeline, Alabama coach Kalen DeBoer is still trying his darndest to make the case for the Crimson Tide to have made the 2024 college football playoff.
There's certainly thoughts you have, but, you know, I can't say that they're concrete in my mind. You kind of wonder what would happen if other people would have had the chance to play our schedule last year, and that would only get tougher. I know if you played a full SEC 9-game schedule, I know from our end going into this season, we're playing 10 Power 4 games with Florida State and Wisconsin this year on top of the 8 games. So I know we haven't held back at this point on, you know, anything when it comes to playing a tough schedule, non-conference wise.
But we have the hardest schedule. I mean, they didn't have the hardest schedule. It is really tough playing in the SEC. Don't get me wrong. I know that West Coast fans don't want to hear it, but I do acknowledge that about Bama. But Bump, you lost to 2 unranked teams.
Not just 2 unranked teams. Vanderbilt, one of them.
Yeah.
And Oklahoma at the end of the year.
Come on now.
All right, look, the schedule's tough, right? You play Georgia, number 2 at the time. You beat them. Good for you. You play number 11 Tennessee, who seemed like they low-key were frauds, right? You lost to them. And then you lose to Oklahoma, but you also play number 15 LSU. You beat them. Number 21 Missouri. Like, there's an argument. I get him saying, look, our schedule is so tough, and the other teams were to play our schedule, they couldn't handle it. Probably not. Mm-hmm. It is a tough schedule when it's tough. But when it's not tough, man, it's cheeks. You know, you got South Florida, you got Western Kentucky, you got Vanderbilt, you lost to Vandy. You play Mercer at the end of the season, your little cheat code that SEC does, especially Bama at the end of the season. Let's have a non-conference and have a bye week, essentially. Nah, man, I think that for the criteria that the committee set, they got it right.
Yeah.
Should they change some things? Yes, and they are going to change some things. But for the way they decided they were going to pick who makes a playoff, they got it right. Kalen, it's over. It's almost like when you're in a game and a bad play happens or a good play happens, one of the first things coaches are going to say, next play. Let's move on. Next play. Bro, it's been too long. Like, just let it burn, Usher, and let's move on and focus on this year. Because I'm looking at your schedule this year. You better not lose to University of Louisiana Monroe. I'll tell you that. It better not even be close. And then your cheat code at the end of the year on November 22nd, you play Eastern Illinois. Just take care of your schedule. If you win all your games, you're going to be in. So focus on 2025.
Yeah, I think that going back in time, Kalen DeBoer's argument about making it into the playoff would have probably come at the exclusion of SMU. And in that case, SMU would have been punished for making their conference championship, which they did, and losing to Clemson.
Mm-hmm.
And the loss you would have used against them would have come in a conference championship that Alabama did not appear in their respective conference. So no matter what, like, there is no clear, fair argument that Kalen can stand for. There's no wrong that must be righted in his argument. The only way Alabama makes it in is by another school seemingly unfairly getting cut. And in this case, it would have been a school that went to their conference championship game when Alabama did not.
A team that fit the criteria of what the committee wanted. It is what it is. Win your conference or just lose one game and you're probably in that thing. You had one of the worst losses in Alabama history losing to Vandy.
Yeah.
It was one of the most embarrassing losses. They haven't lost to them in 25 years. And you lost to Vandy.
And if they didn't, then we wouldn't be having this. No. And we wouldn't be having this conversation. So you can talk about your schedule all you want. And by the way, you nearly lost to Georgia. Like, Georgia got back in that game, and it made it very, very close. And I know that it sounds silly to say, well, Georgia made it so close. Well, good for you. That's still a quality win. But I don't know. I just think if they never would have lost to Vanderbilt, we wouldn't be in this situation. And unfortunately, college football is such that one loss carries a lot of weight.
And then it's, what have you done for me lately? That loss to Oklahoma before the Iron Bowl, that's what really got you too.
Yeah. So, again, I think I hear what Kalen's saying. I know you hear what Kalen's saying, but I think it would have been – I think the right decision was made, that even though Alabama finished the season as the 11th ranked team, it would have been wrong to leave SMU out.
Yeah.
And punish them for getting to the conference championship game and losing.
Yeah.
Next up, Julio Jones still isn't over the Falcons' Super Bowl loss, but it's not for the reason that you think it is.
I have yet to go back and watch it.
Oh, the game?
Yeah, I haven't went back to watch the game. And too, like, for me, just like in that game, it was just like I had 4 opportunities in that game. In that whole game too, though. Like, all this, what I've done and, as a team, and we got to the Super Bowl, it's just like I had 4 opportunities.
Bro, that one catch you had on the sideline?
I had 4 opportunities, though, the whole game. That's insane.
That is
4
ridiculous.
targets in the Super Bowl.
No, that's ridiculous.
But, again, I did what was asked of me.
God, one of the most infamous collapses of all time.
28-0. It was 28-9 at halftime. And you finished 34-28. I'm looking at his stats right now. 4 targets, 4 receptions, 87 yards, no touchdown, a long of 27. No, it's a shame. Julio Jones should get at least 12 targets a game in his prime, most definitely. And I feel him, man. You're gonna be salty about that. There's one game I played in that I'm still salty about till this day.
What was it?
My last high school football game. We're in the state semifinals. If we get a first down, we win this ball game. I'm playing quarterback. I get the first down. Instead of going down as an option, I option it to my running back, who I know I shouldn't option to. He fumbles. They pick it up.
Why'd you
drive
option it
down
to
and
him?
win. I don't know. Shouldn't have done it. I got the first down. Should have just went down.
Oh, like salty about, in hindsight, just the entire thing. I
Yeah.
thought it was going to be like someone else's decision where you were like,
No.
Oh,
So you're going to be salty about something, and Julio Jones should be salty about that. I didn't realize he only had 4 targets, though. That's a
didn't
dang
either.
shame. Was that Matt Ryan's MVP year too?
Uh-huh.
Like, he should know better.
I know.
Julio gets targets, 12 minimum a game in his prime.
you got that MVP 2016 season, I believe, in part because of Julio. What are you doing? I don't understand. Yeah, I don't know. That entire, I know for Patriots fans, I'm sure that's one of their favorite Super Bowl wins.
Yeah.
But oh my God,
Made
as
a
someone
movie
who,
about it.
as someone who used to hate the Patriots, well, still does, just
I can't
like less
hate them
strong.
no more.
I can't hate them because they're not good, but I grew up hating the Patriots. And was actively rooting for Atlanta in that one, and just thought like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. Next in last story, we talked about it a bit in 4 Down territory, but let's get back to it with sound. Terry Bradshaw was on 103.7 The Buzz and had this to say about Aaron Rodgers potentially coming to Pittsburgh.
What do you think about possibly Aaron Rodgers being the quarterback? That's a joke. He shouldn't. That is just, to me, is a joke. But what are you going to do? Bring him in for 1 year? Are you kidding me?
I mean,
that's not the Steelers' way, right?
No, man, that guy needs to stay in California and go, somewhere and chew on bark and whisper to the gods out there.
100%.
Chew on bark and whisper to the gods. Whatever he's doing out there. I could get why Terry Bradshaw would also be protective of the brand and see it as an insult that Aaron Rodgers is taking so long to make this decision. At a certain point, I would imagine for a lot of former Steelers, it's like, then don't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you clearly don't have respect for this job. You're not treating this team like you have a lot of respect for them. And if you're genuinely taking time to think about retiring, then, like, maybe make a statement or say something, or I don't know, man.
I get it.
I don't know what's going on.
Terry don't like the way he's handling the situation.
No, because he's not handling it well.
No, he's not. But if Aaron was like, look, man, just give me a week or so. I'm really trying to figure things out. And he was more transparent. Maybe Terry feels different about it. But also, Terry, what you got over there right now, man, you might just want him for a year. But I get where the anger is coming from. But from the outside looking in, I'm looking at that quarterback room and saying, yeah, you want Aaron in that room.
Pitching great and MLB Hall of Famer John Smoltz was on Brock and Salk this morning and said something everyone in baseball knows about the Mariners. I promise it's a good thing. That's next.
Brock and Salk
with our friend Jeff Passan.
I think that what we're seeing now is a version of how good the Mariners can be. The really exciting part is that George Kirby's coming back, and that Logan Gilbert's coming back, and that Bryce Miller's going to come back, and that all of a sudden, this team that looks like arguably the second best team in the American League is going to be adding 2 Cy Young caliber pitchers.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10 on Seattle Sports.
This is Matt Coker from West Coast Men's Health. Has Viagra stopped working for you? Do you hate the side effects? If you've taken Viagra for any length of time, you already know that pills are not the solution to ED. Here at West Coast Men's Health, we have a better approach to ED. Acoustic wave therapy creates blood flow circulation by safely removing the plaque in your arteries and restoring function naturally. No pills, no shots, no surgery. We can also treat Peyronie's disease. Our non-invasive treatment for ED is painless and highly effective. We have treated thousands of men just like you. Stop living with this problem and do something about it. Do yourself a favor, do your partner a favor, and call us today.
Call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com. HSA cards welcome and financing available.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things. People. Love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with a Capital One Saver card. So let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
We've all been there. Sleepless nights, mind racing, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Video security, burglar alarms, fire alarms, access control, 24/7 monitoring, and more. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy, knowing we're here for you, your people, and your business. Visit bayalarm.com to talk to a local security expert. Bay Alarm, we got you.
Rick Riz here for the Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington's Improve Your Play program. Many of our local youth sports teams need help with field enhancements, training, and equipment. Local Pella owners Keith Dashafy and Luke Wilson are stepping up to donate $5,000 to 2 deserving teams. We need your help finding them. Head to seattlesports.com/play to nominate a deserving team in need. Let's help our local youth improve their play this year with Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Contest and rules at seattlesports.com/play. play.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
The home of the Mariners.
Left off to center. It is on its way. Julio, 2-run home run.
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
It's time for a girls' night out back. Australia's Thunder from Down Under Temptation Tour is hitting Galaxy at Muckleshoot, June 5th through 7th. Tight abs, ripped bodies, and moves so hot you'll need a cold shower after. Get tickets now at muckleshootcasino.com and feel the thunder. June 5th through 7th, only at Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
Heading to the ball game? Don't mess with traffic and pricey parking fees. Make it easy and ride the bus. It's affordable and convenient. No stress, no hassle. And plenty of time to grab a hot dog before first pitch. Community Transit makes riding the bus fun, easy, and affordable. You save money on parking, and kids under 18 ride for free. See where they can take you and plan your trip today. Go to Community Transit at ctgo.org/home run.
Hey friends, it's Stacy with a little bit of inside info. I know there are a lot of local business owners listening right now. This message is for you. Wayscar Ford is running great pricing on all of their commercial vehicles, trucks, Super Duties, Isuzu FTRs, box trucks. The bigger, the better, and they have a ton of them. New and used models and a ton of 2025 models. I'm on their website right now. Here's one, $11,000 off. Another for $19,000 off. Wayscar Ford just expanded their heavy truck shop, and there are a ton of opportunities. They're looking for mechanics if anyone listening has heavy truck experience. Join a wonderful company at a dealership that's been in Auburn for 103 years. Take advantage of the amazing inventory and deals they have right now. Commercial sales and service for both Ford and Isuzu. A great option for people, a great option for families, and now business owners. I'm a proud customer. I know you will be too. Wayscar Ford, Isuzu in Auburn. WayscarFord.com. That's WayscarFord.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Everyone in baseball knows this to be true about the Seattle Mariners. That's what pitching great and MLB Hall of Famer John Smoltz told Brock and Salk this morning. We got a lot to get to from John, so let's start with this one. Thoughts on the Mariners so far?
Everybody knows in baseball that if the Seattle Mariners find a way to score runs, they're going to be in the playoffs and they're going to be a dangerous team. Now, they don't have a lot of sexy averages, but they have found ways to score, hit timely home runs, and even though they've got some injuries in their pitching staff, you know, this division, everybody's kind of been waiting to see if the Seattle Mariners can score consistently, because then they become a very dangerous team. You got some teams in that division that are a little bit down. You never count out Houston. Texas just can't score. They've turned into, like, it's just amazing. If they score at all, they're dangerous. So it really comes down to Seattle finding ways to score runs.
Great analysis, and I want to dive into it. Before we do, I want to define sexy average. Does it start at 300, or do we allow like a 285 as a sexy average? Like a 285 is like you're not only like hot, but like a great personality. And then starting at 300, it's like 400 average is like I wouldn't even, no one approaches that person at a bar.
Yes, that's a model.
Yeah, that's like model. A don't even shoot your shot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and 285 I would say. There's only what? Let's get down to, they're about, Kyle Tucker's at 285, his average right now.
I would say 285 is where sexy average starts.
Yeah, there's about 29 other batters in front of him.
Yeah, good-looking average kind of in the middle, or solid average, but sexy average is 285 and up.
Yeah, we're more of like a 258.
You know what I mean?
Kind of squad.
Like it's like we're all personality.
Yeah.
What did you make though of John's overall take that everyone in baseball knows if they can find a way to score, especially consistently, they can be dangerous in the playoffs?
Translation: everybody named Mama know. Everybody and their mama knows that if the Mariners can produce runs, they'll be in the playoffs. Yeah, because one, you're looking at the division and you're saying, all right, all the things he just said. Texas can't score. You can count out the Astros, of course, and then you got low key. I want to say the Angels have put together like 6 or 7 games, and then you have the A's. because when you get into the playoffs, it's all about the pitching, and they have the best rotation in the game. They might have the best six-man rotation in the game when it's all said and done. Yeah, that is a common fact. Anyone who watches baseball, who keeps up with it, knows that it's all about the arms over here.
All right, well, speaking of those arms, he says that the Mariners are an outlier when it comes to pitching development.
They're definitely an outlier. Nobody has the resources or wants to put in the resources to develop. They just want to find them on trees. They just want what comes out of a computer, what spits out of the analytics. That's what they want. They don't want to spend the time and the resources to develop, because you're not asking these kind of people who are making these decisions. They're not really baseball people. So I give Seattle credit. I give Tampa Bay a lot of credit. But the Rays, and they know it, they develop pitchers and resurface pitchers, but then they all get hurt. So Seattle's done a really good job developing pitchers, and really until this year hasn't had much of the misfortune of a lot of guys missing starts.
If you're someone who wondered, well, why can't they spend those resources to develop hitting? Trust me, you're not alone.
They're trying.
It's where my mind automatically went. They are trying. But you mentioned this in your email, and I thought it was an important point. Obviously, this coming after Logan Evans had a really great day out there, of just how impressive it is that it's so consistent.
It is, and it's not like Logan Evans was a first-round pick. He was a 12th-round pick, and they saw something in this guy and have nurtured and developed this dude. I also love Smoltz's tone. He's an old-school kind of guy. I applaud the Mariners because they're not just looking at data and all that good stuff. And I actually was listening to this interview live as I was driving in, and he elaborates, and then Salk elaborates, and it's like, look, everyone's looking just for the high velo, all right? Mm-hmm. How hard can you throw the ball? And when you're, and this is, I'm essentially saying what Salk said. He said, when they're that young and they're forced to just velo, eventually their arms are going to get all jacked up, and you get to the bigs. How long do you have with these guys? So essentially Smoltz is applying them and saying they're not just looking for velo, right? I don't know what their checklist is when it comes to looking for these guys, especially a 12th round pick who they found a way to develop. Whatever they're doing, their checklist, it is working for them, and it sounds like they're not just leaning on the data, which I respect. I respect the data, but I also respect the human eye and the human connection. So I think they're doing a good job balancing both.
It's not just pitching, obviously. We're going to talk about the impact of hitting coaches. I know that so much credit has been given to Kevin Seitzer and Edgar Martinez during what really feels like a turnaround for this team. John Smoltz was asked, hey, what about hitting coach impact? Surprising answer.
Yeah, it's overblown. Too much credit, too much blame.
Right.
It's like the pilots of a plane only gets blamed when there's turbulence, not a safe landing, right? It's just amazing how quickly those positions go when a team doesn't hit. They're a little bit, hands are tied with the philosophy of hitting today and the information overkill. The guys get paralyzed one way or another based on the information or mechanically trying to lift the ball and hit it. But I think when you have an error where you don't get penalized for swinging and missing, then it can be pretty simple of what you're trying to do. I think teams, again, when you talk about outliers, when they want to go to the next direction and the next level, if they can figure out their roster being athletic, that means they can run, they can steal, and they can put the ball in play when they have to. That, to me, is the combination of success.
I thought that was really interesting because, Bump, I've been trying to do the same thing that Rock and Salk were doing with this question, which is figuring out what's behind a seemingly improved offense. What's behind strikeouts being down? Higher than we'd like, but strikeouts being down. What's behind Jorge Polanco bouncing back? Like, surely it's not just that his knee is better. I mean, he's still dealing with an oblique injury. Like, what's behind some of this? And it's so hard not to look at Edgar. And I don't know, even hearing from John Smoltz, who knows infinitely more about baseball, it's hard for me not to wonder if Edgar is having an outsized impact with someone like Julio.
I'm sure he's having some type of impact, but it's hard to measure the impact, honestly, because you're not going to give him credit for every bomb that he hits, every line drive, every time he's on base. No, because the player has to do that. And so it's hard. It's something that I don't think you can measure. I think if you talk to the individual ball player, he'll tell you how that person has helped them in their journey, but there's no metric for that. So end of the day, I'm with him. Too much credit and not enough credit at times. It's just almost like a thankless position. Yeah. Only time people are really talking about you is when you're hot, and when things are cold, you could be the fall guy. We've seen that already. What, Brown is over? Who's Brown with now? Curtis, old hitting coach. Who's he with?
Cardinals.
And for everything that I'm hearing and reading and listening to, they love him over there. So you got to get in the right situation and get lucky at the same time and have your bashes get hot.
Last one here, an overall note about coaching. In this case, looking at the manager, the most important thing an MLB manager can do.
I mean, you can fail. Well, now you can fail 8 out of 10 times and still be considered pretty good. When you're not dealing with the highest success rate, especially as a hitter, the greatest hitters of this generation might hit 300, might have 3 of them in the league. So you think about how hard it is to hit and how much velocity and pitching there is. You almost got to have a psychology degree to be able to be a hitting coach to understand that, there's going to be some peaks and valleys, and you want to get your players ready for those moments when they get on a roll and can make some things happen. So no doubt, it's probably the biggest and most important role of a coach.
The most important thing an MLB manager can do, says John, is instill confidence. Do you agree?
Yeah. I mean, because at this point, you have your coaches. You have your fielding coach, your catcher coach, your hitting coach, outfield coach. You have all of that. And you have your assistants putting in like the groundwork for this thing. They're with them every day. They're more detailed than that. So now what's your job? To check in with your coaches and make these players feel like they are worthy of going out there wearing the jersey and making some plays. I agree 100%.
I have a controversial topic that we're going to get to coming up next. The most untouchable Seattle athletes, and it's important for me to clarify right now. This is not ranking the best Seattle athletes, in my opinion, though some of the best Seattle and best athletes of all time are on this list. The most untouchable, fan favorite Seattle athletes coming up next.
Home cooking. That's what I'm talking about. Some garlic fries, of course, some Moto pizza out in the pen. Man, so good. The first place Mariners return home with a bang.
Cal Raleigh with another home run.
Tonight, they go for 2 straight in Game 2 against the Nationals. Wyman and Bob take you up to pregame at 5:30. First pitch at 6:40 on the home of the Mariners and the race for the AL West. Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Summer is on everyone's mind, and many of us ladies, well, you men too, would like to get rid of that extra stubborn fat and address those areas of loose skin like around the waistline, chin, and upper arms. Maybe you've tried the lasers, fat freezing methods, even those new pills, but without getting the results you were hoping for. Introducing ProSculpt, the new one-day instant permanent fat removal and skin tightening treatment. ProSculpt is minimally invasive, performed while you're fully awake, and it's gentle yet powerful. Designed to target the waistline, chin, neck, arms, and thighs, ProSculpt uses FDA-cleared plasma technology to deliver immediate and permanent fat-reducing and skin tightening results, all in just one visit. Go to ProSculpt.com today to schedule your free consultation, and for a limited time, get $250 off. Feel confident this summer with instant, permanent fat reduction and skin tightening that works for women and men too. ProSculpt.com.
Discover one of the new inventions in home comfort with mini split systems from Home Comfort Alliance. Enjoy efficient heating and cooling, saving energy and reducing utility bills. Call now for a free consultation and get 18 months same as cash financing. Visit HomeComfortAlliance.com.
My wife and I have been married for over 15 years, and I've never had any complaints about my performance in the bedroom. But after I turned 40, things started feeling different. I was gaining weight, losing muscle, and I just wasn't interested in sex anymore. My wife told me her friend's husband went through the same thing, and it turns out he had low testosterone. So we booked a free T-check at Revive Health, and that's when I learned that my testosterone levels were low too. We worked with a provider to create a custom treatment plan, and today, my wife and I are having more fun than we did on our honeymoon. My only regret is not reaching out sooner.
If you're ready to book your free T-check, visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com or call 206-529-1111. Again, that's 206-529-1111.
Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. The best place to watch all your favorite sports. Featuring wall-to-wall viewing screens, 6 windows, and 30 kiosks. Be there at emeraldqueen.com. Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest.
Dave Wyman joined by the mayor of the city of Lacey, Andy Ryder. Andy recently underwent successful treatment for prostate cancer. His treatment method? Swedish CyberKnife. Andy, what would you say to anyone considering prostate cancer treatment?
I'm feeling very confident about my treatment with CyberKnife. I absolutely recommend it for anyone who has been diagnosed with prostate cancer.
Reach out to Swedish CyberKnife directly at swedish.org/CyberKnifeProstate. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish CyberKnife.
When you switch to Progressive, you could save bundling your home and auto. Then you could put that money towards some of the surprisingly more expensive things in life.
Attention passengers, we've reached 10,000 feet and internet is now available for purchase.
I just paid hundreds for this flight, and you can't even throw in internet? I'll just take the free pretzels.
Sorry, but I do have snack boxes for sale.
I'm just gonna sleep.
In that case, we are selling pillows and blankets as well.
I'll just breathe. That's free, right?
Life costs a lot, so bundle and you could save with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Testing.
We're live from Chick-fil-A.
This is Grant.
And this is Laura.
And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Smokehouse Barbecue Bacon Sandwich is that sweet bun.
And that chicken filet was perfectly crispy and soft at the same time.
And that Smokehouse Barbecue sauce, it's a lot of fun. And the brown sugar bacon definitely had a little bit more pizzazz. Also, the Mac, one of the all-time greats. Man, I'm getting hungry.
Order the Smokehouse Barbecue Bacon Sandwich and a Coca-Cola on the Chick-fil-A app for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Hey there, I'm Phil Briggs, Navy veteran and host of CBS Eye on Veterans weekly radio show and podcast. And over the years, I've loved sharing military stories with my neighbor Greg, a battle-tested former Army Ranger. He's a barbecue master and always welcomes us over. As it's Military Appreciation Month, Navy Federal Credit Union wants all active duty, veterans, and family to know that they're always eligible to join. Because at Navy Federal, our members are the mission. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA.
For 70 years, we've been known as the Humane Society of the United States. But as the challenges animals face have grown, so have we. We are now called Humane World for Animals. And if you love animals, you're part of our world. Humane World for Animals. The end of animal cruelty.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
We have 6 games underway in MLB right now. Let's take a look at the scoreboard. Bottom of the 5th between White Sox and Mets. The White Sox up 5-3 over New York. Top of the 7th between the Dodgers and Guardians. Dodgers up 4-1. Top of the 7th between Giants and Tigers. It's a close one. Tigers up 4-3. Bottom of the 6th, Red Sox Brewers. That one also close. Red Sox up 3-2. You got Twins and Rays in the top of the 7th. Rays just a shutout against the Twins 4-0. And end of the 3rd, heading into the 4th between the A's and Astros. A's are up 2-1.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Listen up, I really like this segment. I think it's really fun, but I need to be very clear about what it is that we're doing. This is a list of the most untouchable athletes. On this list of Seattle athletes are going to be some of the best Seattle athletes of all time. They're untouchable because they're so good, because our memories of them are that they were with our team, whatever that team is, Mariners, Seahawks, what have you, for its most important moments, and we're usually a really big part of it. So that's why they're on this list. It will not surprise you that, like, Ichiro is on this list for me. Then there are athletes that are untouchable because for some reason and we'll try to pick it apart. They're just fan favorites. Someone like Will Dissly, for instance, I don't have him on my list of untouchable athletes, but he's like borderline, where I'm like, this guy never had, I think, more than 300 receiving yards in a single season, and yet somehow Seattle fans will always love him, and I'm not even mad about it. It's just one of those things that constantly causes you to tilt your head a little bit and go, man.
No one ever criticized his contract, even though
no one ever criticized his contract.
His
it's the same reason with like Zach Miller will forever be seen as like the best Seahawks tight end despite not having the best numbers. Like there are just some guys that Seattle fans love. They're untouchable. And the numbers don't really back it up. The number 10 player that I have on my list is that kind of player. And it's going to be very controversial. But again, this is not a Mount Rushmore of Seattle athletes, though you're going to have a lot of overlap. Bump. The athletes that you feel are so untouchable. Do you have a list, or do you want me to run through and then you can?
Got a list.
Okay, who do you got?
One recent Tyler Lockett. Ain't nobody messing with Tyler Lockett. Like, he's the nicest guy in the world. He is one of the best wideouts in Seahawks history when you look at his numbers. But I think it was his personality that kind of like captured everybody. He was the type of guy who would walk into the meeting room, say hello to everybody, shake their hands. You saw who he's with Vegas right now. He's in Vegas, right? No, he's in Tennessee. His first media day, he walks in there and says hello to everybody, shakes everyone's hand. Like, that is Tyler Lockett to the fullest. I think no one can say anything bad about Tyler Lockett,
No,
other than
genuinely
he
nice
got
guy.
down when he got the football towards the end of his career here.
That's okay. So this is where I had Tyler Lockett as an honorable mention. And the name that I put above Tyler Lockett is going to be very controversial, and it's going to make some people mad. But again, it kind of proves my point that some of these guys are untouchable for reasons that I can't explain. I bet Jake Locker at number 10. Jake Locker is an untouchable Seattle athlete because at no point do his career numbers back up being as famous or revered as he is. But you better not say a bad word about Jake Locker, because I promise you the second that I do, I'm going to get a million texts coming into our text line, most especially from people in Ferndale saying, back off. Absolutely leave this guy alone. I had Jake Locker on the list over a far more accomplished former Seahawk like Tyler Lockett, or a far more accomplished former everything, Steve Largent, an all-time NFLer, because Jake Locker was a bust. Jake Locker was a sub 60% completion percentage passer at UW, and yet everyone loves Jake Locker. Every dude I know talks about having. You can't say he's a
bust and then talk about his time at UW. His time at UW made him a first-round pick.
His time at UW made him a first-round pick, but he doesn't hold, like, most of UW's records are now held by other passers.
Yeah, I mean, the game didn't change too, though.
But you know what I'm saying? It's not like someone that leaves college and you go, okay, this guy was a first-round pick and he still holds like the vast majority of his school records. Like, Jake Locker does not.
No.
He has a couple, but like, he does not hold the bulk of passing records, and yet you cannot say a thing about Jake Locker. That's the kind of list I'm thinking about. I will spoil my number one pick, Ken Griffey Jr., one of the best baseball players of all time, should have been a unanimous Hall of Famer. Shame on those 3 voters. So I do have some people on here that are like Mount Rushmore of Seattle sports. I would not have Jake Locker on that. But in a list of just untouchable, sometimes for reasons you can't explain, Jake Locker's smack dab number 10 on that list.
Yeah, I rock with Jake. He was a guy, after we beat him in the Apple Cup, brought everybody in the middle of the 50-yard line for prayer. You know what I mean? And said, God bless everybody, shook everyone's hand, and got out of there. No, I'm not mad at Jake Locker. I love Jake Locker. One of the nicest guys I've ever met in my life.
Someone said, how are we defining untouchable? I defined it as no one's touching this person's fame and accomplishments. So like Griffey, no one's touching that. And then also as this person could commit a crime and there would be people going, oh, but I just love him. Like I said, like a Jake Locker, Will Dissly, where the numbers don't really back it up, but people just love them. And you're like, God, why?
Well, I mean, we talked about it in headline rewrites. Sean Kemp has committed a crime, and people love the guy here.
I had them at number 7, and I promise you there are people that are like, should be higher. And that's exactly why. I mean, these, like, guys that people just love. And sometimes there's unique reasons. Who's someone else you have for your list?
Brandon Roy. Brandon Roy is one of the most likable Seattle athletes of all time. And I think it's his potential, too, in the NBA that makes it even more likable because, one, if you've ever met him, I met him once or twice, real nice dude, local guy. And he gets to the league, and I heard stories about him getting after Kobe, like going after Kobe. And because of his knee injuries, obviously his career was cut short. So who knows what he could have been in the NBA if he were healthy. But then he comes back, coaches Garfield High School, still in the community. Everybody loves Brandon Roy.
That's a perfect answer. That is the point of this list. There are going to be people on our list who are just like, obviously that guy. One of the most important parts of this team's history or what have you. Again, I already said it, but my number one pick was Ken Griffey Jr. And then there are guys that other people are going to go, Brandon Roy, Bump, what are you talking about? There's so many other people that you should have above him. And you're like, no, but he's on here because no one I know says a bad word. And, like, he could do anything and people would still love him. Okay, who else do you have?
Detlef Shrimp, man. I think
That's a good one, too.
he is. I see this dude. I go to a lot of golf tournaments. And one, he's a heck of a golfer. My dude is probably scratch. But everyone loves Detlef Shrimp. No one says anything bad about him. He takes time to talk to people. He reminds you of the glory days of the Sonics with him and Kemp and Gary Payton. Detlef Shrimp, man. He's a guy that I've never heard a bad word about.
Yeah. So I'm going to go up from the bottom, and I'm going to spend a little more time on some of the higher ones that I had. So I had at number 10, I put Jake Locker. Again, a lot of people are going to disagree with me, but my experience is that I can't say a single thing about him without someone being like, watch your mouth. So I had Cal Raleigh at number 9. Early entry, still early in his career. But Cal Raleigh is one of those guys that could now, people love Cal Raleigh. He can do no wrong. Like, he's officially there. Only at number 9. But you think he should be higher?
Nah, I wouldn't put him on my list yet.
Oh, I would.
I think people love him, but I also think that
it's an iconic Seattle sports moment.
He does. I just think that fans be turning on people real quick, man. If Cal would have come out and have 2 seasons in a row, 2-3 seasons where he don't look like the guy that we've seen, people will turn on him. But I think Curtis makes a good point. One of the most iconic plays of all time. So I think that keeps him in. I've been convinced that keeps him in.
I had Felix at number 8, and I wrote in part on this list because he's kind of a tragic figure, like one of the best pitchers this team has seen, and then this team never capitalized on it. Like, there's this iconic photo of like the end of season kind of thing, and Felix is sitting in the dugout just looking forlorn.
Oh, yeah, that was like game 161 after he got eliminated.
And you're just thinking, you've had one of the best pitchers of his generation, of that era, and never did anything with him.
Yeah.
And it's tragic.
It is tragic. And especially because you kind of saw like his stuff slowly start to fade too. And you knew that the end was near, and you realized that you wasted one of the best arms you've had here. Yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tough one.
What else did you have? I should say, who else did you have?
I got Jack Sigma, man. I think people
I did not have him.
who really love the Sonics and Northwest sports, man.
Yeah.
He's an icon. Won a championship in 1979 with this crew. And I went to school with his nephew, so that was like my introduction. I used to see how people reacted to him, and I go, all right, tell me about your family. You know, why are people so interested in you and what you have to say? And it's Sigma. And if you met Jack as well, my man, again, one of the nicest guys that you've ever met, and is a champion, the first champion for the Seattle, or the only champion for the Supersonics here.
Okay, so I had, again, 8 Felix, 7 Bobby Wagner, 6 I combined Gary Payton and Sean Kemp, and then 5 I had Sue Bird. Did you have any of those, or could we get to top 4?
No, I don't have any of those.
Okay. Top 4, beginning with number 4, I said Marshawn Lynch. I went to a wedding, this is a true story, where they played Seahawks, especially Marshawn Lynch highlights during the reception. Is it what I would ever do at my wedding? Absolutely not. But I'm telling you,
a little unhinged.
Marshawn Lynch does not hold the Seahawks franchise record for rushing yards. Nor is he second. He does not hold the franchise record for touchdowns, nor is he second. And there are a huge number of Seahawks fans that would say he's the best Seahawks running back ever.
Yeah, it's. Do
I agree? No.
He captivated everyone with his personality, man. He was. He's one of the few guys who has been exactly the same for the last 20 years. I met him when I was 18. I ran into him a couple times after that. He is exactly the same person. I think it's refreshing because a lot of people get money or they get older and they change a bit. This isn't a bad thing, right? But not him, man. He has been true to himself through and through. Yeah, Marshawn's a good one.
Where'd you have Marshawn A? B, who were your top 3?
I have Marshawn in my top 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's just hear your top 3 and then I'll do
All right,
mine.
so it's Marshawn.
We probably have a lot of overlap.
Marshawn, Steve Largent.
Okay.
And then Lenny Wilkins.
Very interesting top 3.
And I met Lenny last year. He was the 12th flag raiser, and just listening to him talk about life and sports. I used to watch him growing up. Watching him. What he coached several teams: the Sonics, the Trailblazers came back for the Sonics, the Cavaliers, the Hawks, Toronto, and just the knowledge. You ever talk to somebody and everything they say just sticks and you hold on to it. And especially older folks too, man, because I'm like, your eyes have seen so many things that I haven't. I got questions for days. And when he was done with the 12 flag raise, our interview, he hung around for a little bit. And we were like kids. It was me, Paul Moyer, Big Ray, Brian Walters. I think Babs was there too. And we're just peppering questions at him because we just want to know about his life. So Lenny, man, one of the great ones.
And Steve Largent was 2.
Steve Largent was 1. It goes
1?
Largent, Lenny,
1?
Largent, Lenny, and then Marshawn.
I'm going to say something that's going to make people hate me. What's new? I didn't have Steve Largent on my list. Again, This is not a list of the best Seattle athletes ever. Steve Largent would absolutely be on that list. He might even be on my Mount Rushmore of Seattle athletes. I'd very seriously consider it. Untouchable, I had to include some people that I felt like no matter what, they're kind of like they can do no wrong ever. And it's not that I don't think that about Largent. It's just I'm a victim of the moment with the baseball season, perhaps. And so my top 3 were all Mariners. It was Griffey, Ichiro, Edgar.
I like Ichiro.
And part of that's my own memory of growing up here where everyone just constantly talks about the same era of Mariners baseball constantly. And unfortunately for me, I didn't really get to experience that. So there's a little bit of wrapped into this, knowing that these guys are all amazing, genuinely prolific players, but then also that they are revered for a team that has little else to revere.
I think what influenced my list, well, a lot of my top, I guess I would say, was just the personal relationship conversations that I had with people, with the guys on the list. So it made me see them just in a different light. In an honorable mention, I got to throw him out there, is Walter Jones, man. Like, people love Walt. Walt is the nicest guy. I've watched him sign 1,000 autographs, hug everybody, say hello, and it's, as he retired, his personality has gotten even bigger. So, and he's obviously one of the great, if not the greatest tackle of all time.
Yeah.
And is a good dude. And I think everyone loves Walt.
Everyone loves Walt. Everyone. I thought of it like I almost did this list in tiers of the crimes I thought they could get away with. Tier 1 murder. I think Griffey.
Goodness gracious.
No, listen to me. I think Griffey could kill someone, and there would be a good chunk of Seattle fans that would be like, I didn't see anything. Like, that's what I'm talking about when I talk about untouchable, is like some of these guys.
Start there. I'll start at like DUI or something like that. I'll start there.
Start with like, you're like, I'm not getting to the felonies yet. Like, it's just, they're just banned from Canada. You know what I mean? Just like easier things. But no, I went with, to me, in my mind, the athlete that everyone will always point to would be Griffey. And then that pool of that same kind of group of that Mariners trio, to me, are all kind of together. So I've just,
I feel it.
Based on my own childhood, I put them at the top. But like, that's why someone like Jake Locker or someone like Marshawn doesn't hold Seahawks franchise rushing records, but like, you still know, guarantee you, if you're listening, 5 people, maybe including yourself, that will call him beast mode, and not even Marshawn. They'll be like, oh, beast mode. Like, it's just, he's a fan favorite, can do no wrong.
Yeah.
And that's we had so many differences with our list.
I like it.
Let's see. Did you guys mention Felix? Yes, Felix was on the list. Someone said someone pull Stacy's Seattleite card stat. You can't. I'm from here. You aren't allowed to. Bump, don't forget Walter Jones.
Walt Jones,
I think they did that
Honorable
before
mention.
you said it, yeah.
Another one I like, Lofa Tatupu. I just saw him on Friday. He is a man of the people.
Yeah.
I love Loaf. Loaf's awesome.
Someone said, no, Cam, that's criminal. I considered Cam. I really did, because I think he's up there. Cam I have in the same pool with Doug Baldwin, Will Disley, like Seahawks that people just absolutely loved. Anyways, I could talk about this endlessly. You guys have so many good opinions coming in. Who would be on your list right now? Let's get to headline rewrites.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news with Bump and Stacy.
Headline number one, Tyrese Halliburton's triple-double has the Pacers on the brink of an Eastern Conference title. They're up 3-1 on the Knicks. What's the real headline?
Meanwhile, Halliburton's dad is on the brink of another fight. He's going to get in someone's face. They're going to be like, Dad, how'd you get here again?
We
told you can't be here. They did?
In the suite. He's got to be in a suite, though. Nowhere near the court. Halliburton, I saw a tweet, and I will never unsee this now. They said Halliburton is like Steve Urkel when he went nuts on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. If you've seen that episode.
Stephon Urkel?
No, it was Urkel. It was Urkel. And he was going nuts in high school basketball game. And I'm looking at Halliburton's style and the way he plays, and I see it, and I will never unsee it.
Like where it's just chaotic.
It's just unorthodox. It doesn't remind you of anybody else's playing style. But it works for him, man. He had the game of his life. The best part about his triple-double, he had no turnovers. And on the other side, you're looking at Jalen Brunson. He's turned that ball over, 5 times? He had 5 turnovers, 6 assists. I mean, that's not a great ratio if you are a point guard. This has been crazy. We're really going to get the Pacers, Indiana Pacers, Oklahoma City Thunder in the NBA Finals.
Worst nightlife in NBA Finals history. Oklahoma and Indiana.
Nowhere to celebrate.
I heard a story about, I forgot who it was, Teague, when he won a championship with the Milwaukee Bucks. And he says, man, it was weak. It was weak. He says, we went out. There were like 20 people at the celebration.
Yeah.
He ended up
they were
getting
like,
in his car,
to a Subway,
driving home, and just playing 2K after he won a national championship.
What do you even do? You celebrate, you go out to party in Milwaukee, and you're like, well, there's this butcher shop that's closed, but there's an Arby's, there's an Applebee's, a Chili's.
All bad.
It's popping. It's going crazy. You mentioned him having an unorthodox playing style. By the way, I ordered a Knicks t-shirt that I'm going to wear in solidarity with my sister's boyfriend.
Okay.
But I think it's going to be too late.
Is it going to be
wrap.
here by the time?
Yeah, I'm going to wear it tomorrow.
Okay.
But it's going to be a wrap.
It's over.
It's over. It's just going to be in memoriam.
Memoriam, yeah.
In memoriam is what I said. No, but I liked you mentioning he's an unorthodox player, and I immediately thought of Patrick Mahomes' throwing motion and how many people try to emulate that and fail because it's not really how you should be doing things. Is there another player you can think of where you're like, this guy does things in a way that is so unique? Like if you were to watch, those videos they have on Twitter of like blacked out players, but you can tell who it is because of how they run or how they throw or do anything.
Tyler Lockett. The way he ran routes, I told him too. I said, man, your style is original. It's unorthodox. You cut off your inside foot when you're going in instead of your outside foot. The way you drive your knees. No one runs routes like Tyler Lockett.
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 2, Sean Kemp pled guilty to a second-degree assault charge on Tuesday for shooting at 2 men at the Tacoma Mall back in 2023. What's the real headline?
Shoot or shoot. Listen,
man,
ball is life.
I ran into Kemp at a Mariners game. Didn't run into him. I just saw him. And he's so big, man. Like, you ain't hiding for nobody. Everyone knows you're Sean Kemp, right? You can't be out there doing stuff like this. But he fessed up, obviously, because everyone knew it was him. It's unfortunate. But, Kemp, still a Seattle legend.
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 3, ESPN College Football insider Pete Thamel says coaches are clamoring for a single transfer portal window, but they can't agree on a date. What's the real headline?
As any adult can attest, this is how planning anything goes once you leave college.
Man.
Where do you guys want to go to dinner? I don't know where you want to go to dinner. Well, I just had one
Tuesday
of these, a group thread where we were trying to plan a vacation. I'm not going to be here for a week in July. And it was just, you have like 6 or 7 girls that are all chiming in with, well, I can go on these dates and not these dates. And it's just, it's a nightmare.
Well, for y'all, dudes, I think we're simple. We plan golf trips all the time, and it gets out the group chat fairly quickly. So I think that it depends on what you're doing. Like a vacation, I don't know where you're going, but a golf trip, I think it's a bit more structured. Everyone's on the same page when it comes to that.
Yeah, it's an absolute. When would you want the transfer portal window? When do you think college football would best be served moving this window or having this window?
After the national championship.
Yeah, before spring practice.
Yeah.
Okay.
After, because there's 2 windows right now, which is ridiculous. And you got guys.
So would you rather have one?
Yeah, one window.
Okay.
Yeah, keep it. It's a professional sport now. right? Treat it like all the other sports. You got a trade deadline. You got one trade deadline, right? So, yeah, transfer portal, do it after the national championship. One spring window. Let these guys get to their next school, get there for spring ball and all that good stuff. But, yeah, after the national championship, there were guys who were playing in the college football playoffs who knew after this game, I'm already out. So you have coaches and whatnot, alum calling these kids during the playoff run. Like, let them focus on the task at hand. When you're done, then you can start making your moves.
I know that there's an academic conversation in here somewhere. It's not just coaches who want to get their programs up and running. Obviously, they get those programs going sooner than NFL teams, right? Like, you want to hit the ground running in spring. But I know there's also an academic reason. Like, if you're like on a quarterly system or a semester system, they want to make sure that kids can go and transfer. But like, most of the kids hitting the transfer portal really trying to get playing time. I don't mean this disrespectfully. I don't know how much they deeply care about the academic calendar. They're hitting the transfer portal not because they're like, this school doesn't offer my major. They're hitting it to get more playing time or go to another program or because they have an NIL deal with Tennessee or Oklahoma or whatever else that's more than what they're getting now.
You would have to. Now, this is me not knowing exactly what the situation is as far as academics, but I would assume like you would have to allow these kids to finish whatever they're doing online while they're still attending like these spring practices or whatnot. It is complicated because you have academics involved, but they'll figure this thing out. And yeah, just wait till after the national championship.
Yeah. Someone said guys' group outings are also easier to schedule because we don't worry if one person can't make it. Bump can't make it, bummer. We're still going.
Facts.
No, I think we just make a little bit of an effort to make sure that everyone's included, but it's not like we're going to cancel it. You know, the problem is if you have one person that's the main organizer that's really insistent on making sure everyone can make it. If you have a main organizer that's like, oh, bummer, all right, well, you'll be
Stacy,
missed. What?
You know dang well we are so simple. It is so easy for us. You're I get it, you gotta fight for your girls, but y'all are so complicated about
when we're going,
what we're wearing, who's gonna be there. Well, I don't like her. Well, she doesn't like her. How are we gonna do this? Dudes are just like, all right, man, what's the date? All right, cool, I'll let you know.
Look, do I think women are slightly more high maintenance with planning?
Slightly.
Sure. Yeah, but it's not crazy, you know? It's just, did it take us hours of texting to settle on a date? Yeah. Sure.
I bet it
sure
did.
It did. But we're all excited to go. Everyone's having a great time.
There you go.
You know?
All right.
We've gotten better about it as we've gotten older.
That's good.
But I don't know that the gap is massive.
I think it is.
Really?
I really do.
Like, that
and
men
it's
are
not even
significantly more
low-key.
low-key.
Shade. It's just, March 20th? All right, cool. We'll make it happen.
Bet.
Where we going?
360 says slightly in all caps. Okay. What will the Steelers do if they don't sign Aaron Rodgers? Adam Schefter has a theory coming up next in NFL Headlines.
Home cooking. That's what I'm talking about. Some garlic fries, of course, some Moto pizza out in the pen. Man, so good. The first place Mariners return home with a bang.
Cal Raleigh with another home run.
Tonight, they go for 2 straight in Game 2 against the Nationals. Wyman and Bob take you up to pregame at 5:30. First pitch at 6:40 on the home of the Mariners and the race for the AL West. Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, Brock Ewart here for my friends over at Xfinity. You know, change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, we know that change is all around us. Songs are rewritten and remade. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists, well, they come and go. Even our taste in music, as we get older, can change a bit. But no matter how things change in 5 years, there's one thing that will stay the same. And that is the price of your internet. That's right. Xfinity is introducing a 5-year price guarantee. It means you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with their best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Are you surprised? Well, life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at Xfinity.com/deals. Now, restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August of 2024. Go check it all out right online at Xfinity.com/deals.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Welcome to Bundle Deal Days at AutoZone.
Well, I do need a bundle of things.
When you bundle, you save.
Do I save if I bundle oil with an oil filter?
Save up to $12 on that bundle.
What about brake pads and rotors?
Bundle those and the brake pads are free.
Can't save more than free.
You can save on hundreds of deals during Bundle Deal Days. Ends June 2nd at AutoZone. Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply. Duralast brake pads only.
During National Military Appreciation Month, we at University of Maryland Global Campus say thank you to the service members, veterans, and families who dedicate their lives to our country. We are deeply grateful. For over 75 years, UMGC has proudly served the military community, from installations overseas to the communities you call home. Wherever you serve, we stand with you. Learn more at umgc.edu/thanks. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
An Australian hiker travels to the American West to walk a wilderness trail.
Wasn't afraid to be out on his own.
But Eric Robinson vanished in the high Uinta Mountains.
I remember thinking, Eric, what were you thinking, mate?
I'm Dave Cawley. Join me on my podcast, Uinta Triangle, where I travel the world to answer the question, what happened to Eric Robinson? Follow Uinta Triangle. That's UINTA Triangle on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen.
When you switch to Progressive, you could save bundling your home and auto. Then you could put that money towards some of the surprisingly more expensive things in life.
May I help you? I just wanted to request a late checkout, please.
Of course. That's $30 per hour for up to 4 hours.
Huh. Okay, but if you can offer a late checkout, then that probably means no one is staying in that room. So if it's empty, maybe I can just stay a few extra hours.
Oh, aren't you adorable?
Life costs a lot, so bundle and you could save with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card. So let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver Card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
The home of the Mariners.
One hopper snare that short. Not a quick hop by J.P. Crawford. That guy's a magician over there at shortstop.
Seattle Sports.
Download the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, it's Mike Salk here, and you've heard about my success losing 35 pounds in just 8 weeks with the Eastside Weight Loss Clinic plan. I know you've heard from Ryan Rowland Smith as well. Well, now I want you to hear from someone just like you, a Seattle sports listener. Chad, who lives in the South Sound, he joins me now. Chad, how much weight did you lose?
I lost about 20% of my total body weight. I was down 43 pounds from the start of the reduction phase till it ended.
43 pounds. My gosh, how'd that make you feel? Would you recommend it?
Fantastic. Confident, first and foremost, for me. Much more confident, and then also just healthier, just easier to do things around the house, easier to do things at work. I would 100% recommend it. I can promise you you'll lose the weight you want to lose.
Well, that's another ringing endorsement for Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. Yep, Chad started his journey with just a 15-minute phone call. You can schedule yours today at eastsideweightlossclinic.com. Have the same kind of success I did, the same kind of success as Ryan, and the same kind of success as Chad. Go to eastsideweightlossclinic.com.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C., results may vary.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Ooh, this article already generating controversy. Someone said Jake Locker, but not a radio-friendly version of it. I don't know.
Jake Fantastic Locker.
In my experience, for some reason, Jake Locker is just untouchable. People will just love him. That's in my experience of covering Jake Locker. No one says a bad thing. Let's get to NFL headlines. James Cook was the most notable absence from Buffalo's OTAs. ESPN's Jeff Darlington shared some insight about what the Pro Bowl running back is looking for.
James Cook is not there, and the only player, as Sean McDermott put it, that is not there who is healthy. And this is about the contract. This is about the running back market in general. He has seen players like Saquon Barkley get paid. The running back market seems to, at least from a pendulum standpoint, be swinging back in a good direction to get some of these guys paid, like James Cook, who is so critical to this offense, looking at upwards of $15 million per year. Brandon Beane, the general manager of the Bills, is the type of GM who's going to pay the players who mean the most to him, but he's also not one to simply pay him for no reason. I do think, though, that this will get done. It's a matter of when, and it would not surprise me if it's done before training camp.
Cook is the only Bills player skipping OTAs in this contract standoff.
And good for him. Go ahead and get your money. You saw Saquon getting $30-something million a year. D. Henry just got his as well. I think right now his average, he's getting about $1.3, $1.4 million a year. He accounted for 16 touchdowns last year. Has last year left on his contract. Yeah, go ahead. This is regular practice, folks. Don't jump on James Cook for being selfish or whatnot. He knows that the shelf life for a running back isn't very long. He's about to reach that. He's 25 years old. He's been in the league 3 years. Once you get around 26, 27, 28, they look at you different. So he counted for 16 touchdowns last year. Yeah, you go ahead and hold out and get as much as you can.
Isn't that crazy that in general, like the average NFL running, well, first of all, the average player is not even going to play through a 4-year rookie contract.
No.
The average NFL career is going to be about 3 years. But that, like, even a good running back, you're going to go through your rookie contract, and then your next one when you're around 26, maybe a little bit older or younger, give or take, people are already going to be like, well, he's on the wrong side of 25. It's not that there's no other position quite like it, but it's certainly the harshest reality.
Yeah, it is. And you're in the most danger, honestly.
Yeah.
You touch the ball 200 to 300 plus times a year. It's tough on your body. I'm not mad at James Cook.
Yeah, like if you're a 7th round pick, if you're like a Chris Carson, maybe you only get like a short-term contract after that, and then that's it for you.
Yep.
That's all. Sticking with the Bills, head coach Sean McDermott was asked about his team being selected as the training camp Hard Knocks team.
You know, to some extent, it's I think a real compliment to them choosing us in selecting our organization. Now that the criteria has changed. You know, you look at it, one of two ways, and it's probably a little bit of both. We say the opportunity is there for us to number one, our fans, that they can get an inside look, a little bit of what happens. Is it 100% inside? Maybe not. What percent it is? Is it 10%, 20, 50? Who knows? But, there's a lot that we do that they'll see, which I think is great for the fans. I think there's also just as much that people won't see. And that's true of anyone's process, right? Any great athletes or team's process. There's a lot that goes on that people don't see.
I'm eager to see this. I know the idea of Hard Knocks being a team that has consecutive seasons of missing the playoffs and all of that, but I want to watch a good team on Hard Knocks.
I do, and I like his attitude towards this. A lot of coaches could be on the negative side and complain about it, but no, he wants to give the fans an insight of how things go down in Buffalo. And I love that, man, because we know what dysfunction looks like. We see it all the time in Hard Knocks. We see a coach coming in or being there trying to change the culture of the team and all these bad apples or whatnot. But listen, with this situation, I want to see how a successful franchise is ran. I want to compare it to the other ones. I love this, and I appreciate his attitude about this. He understands we're not going to see everything. We'll see 20% of what actually goes down in that building.
Yep.
I like it.
Bengals star Jamar Chase is wondering if Cincinnati's recent slow starts are the result of starters not playing enough during the preseason. Yes, a reintroduction of a conversation that happens every single preseason.
I don't know. How did we start my rookie year? Did we play in the preseason? I don't know. What about the next year? Did we play preseason? What about the following year? We played that preseason? Sound like we need to play preseason, huh?
Do you think that the issue with slow starts, maybe we'll isolate this into a couple things. There's the issue of slow starts with the Bengals, who notoriously are slow starters and have made the playoffs most of the time despite starting slow recently. And then there's the issue of slow starts in general for the league and many players and former players pointing to lack of preseason time. So pick your poison with where you want to go with this one.
Listen, I think across the league, the football obviously is not the sharpest when you start the season because a lot of these starters aren't getting, the full contact. It's real. It's hard to go from, okay, I'm going 75% at practice, so it's full go now, let's go get it. I think there's something to it. But also, his average annual salary is $40 million a year. They're not going to put you out there doing preseason because they've invested so much money in you. When you were a rookie on a rookie contract and they're trying to figure out who you are, yeah, they're more likely to do that. It's a two-way street, man. I understand why they're doing it, but I also understand that it affects the quality of football early in the season. But there's no way they're putting that investment out there for a game that means absolutely nothing.
Real talk. Do you think that the majority of veteran NFL players, like starters, would even want to play in the preseason?
No.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, I think that this is with any industry on the planet. You think of your own job. There's going to be a lot of complaining about things that just are the nature of that job. And it's like you can't get everything you want. And I wonder if preseason appearances and playing time is part of that. That you risk injuries for these high-priced contracts, to your point, which is a very good one. And then the other issue is if you keep adding games, they're going to keep cutting back on the preseason time because also in the CBA is the injury risk that you guys as players have fought for. So it's kind of like you can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't talk about player safety and player protection and not wanting to get all that time and then also say, well, our slow starts are a lack of preseason. Like, I think the Bengals have some other stuff at play.
And Jamar Chase is 25 years old. Holler at him when he's 29, 30, and his body feels a bit different, and he's had a few more 1,000-yard seasons and understands that he probably doesn't need the preseason to get going. It affects the lineman more than anything. O-line, D-line, the guys in the box. But he's just a young buck. That's all it is.
Adam Schefter was asked about what the Steelers would do at quarterback if they are not able to sign Aaron Rodgers.
I think they feel like Mason Rudolph can and would be good enough to start for the season. That's how they feel. But I do think that they would then inquire about Kirk Cousins and try to make a deal for Kirk Cousins to Pittsburgh. I think that would make some sense. But they do like Mason Rudolph, and they're going to feel like they're not going to have another quarterback. But I would think that they'll explore a trade for Kirk Cousins if Aaron Rodgers decides not to play, which, by the way, I think everybody thinks he will decide to play, and in Pittsburgh.
I didn't mean no disrespect, but I kind of ignored the part of Adam's answer when he said, well, they have Mason Rudolph.
I immediately went to his stats. He played 8 games last year, 64% completion, 1,599 touchdown to interception ratio. He hasn't played a lot of games. The most he's played was in 2019. He played 10 games. Yeah, you know what? I also like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches when I have nothing else to eat. That peanut butter and jelly sandwich is going to hit right now.
Yeah.
You're only as good as your options. Mason Rudolph is the option. So, of course, they're going to pump that message out there. They got to get something done with Aaron Rodgers.
So as part of that answer, Adam Schefter said, like, hey, maybe there's a potential trade for someone like Kirk Cousins. Our last story in NFL headlines looks at Kirk Cousins. He's another big name absent from OTAs. Here's Jeff Darlington.
The Falcons haven't really budged at all this offseason on the idea of simply unloading him for nothing. Raheem Morris saying that no, Kirk Cousins was not there. He was not in meetings. He did not see him at OTAs. And clearly we can see the writing on the wall here. Michael Penix Jr. is the starting quarterback moving forward. Kirk Cousins doesn't love the idea of that at this stage of his career, regardless of the money that he is currently guaranteed. So, of course, we know where this ultimately is headed. They will look for a trade suitor at some point, even though at this point the Atlanta Falcons are holding firm and making very clear they are not just going to unload him for nothing. They want to get something in return.
I wonder what something in return would be because, again, if we combine these two stories, hey, one option for the Steelers if Aaron Rodgers doesn't sign is that you could trade for Kirk Cousins. Well, unfortunately, the Atlanta Falcons are trying to recoup a lot of the sunk value that they have in Cousins. So are we talking like there's no way they mean a first?
No. Heck no.
That's crazy.
And there's a thing, there's nowhere for Kirk Cousins to go. The only place that he can go, or two places if the Steelers don't end up getting Aaron Rodgers, and then the New Orleans Saints. You look at every other team, they have a guy ready to go. Either it's a rookie that they're grooming to go, or they have a veteran over there. I think it's going to be tough. You don't have too many options out there for Kirk.
All right, so we're going to have Dave Wyman joining us a bit later. But coming up next, we got to talk about the Seahawks getting downgraded for their offseason moves by some national voices. Don't go anywhere.
Home cooking. That's what I'm talking about. Some garlic fries, and of course, some Moto pizza out in the pen. Man, so good. The first place Mariners return home with a bang.
Cal Raleigh with another home run.
tonight. They go for 2 straight in Game 2 against the Nationals. Wyman and Bob take you up to pregame at 5:30. First pitch at 6:40 on the home of the Mariners and the race for the AL West. Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
I've never had any complaints about my performance in the bedroom. But after turning 40, I noticed my libido just wasn't what it used to be. That's when I reached out to Revive Health. Their team knew exactly what I needed, which is why today, my wife and I are both more satisfied than ever.
If you're ready to book your free T-check, text BOOST to 65555 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com to schedule your appointment. Message and data rates may apply. Message frequency varies. Text help for help. Text stop to cancel. See privacy policy at ReviveMen'sHealth.com/privacy policy. For info on how opt-in info will be used and terms and conditions at ReviveMen'sHealth.com/terms of use for terms of short code service.
Your new beginning starts now. D.R. Horton has new construction homes available throughout the greater Seattle area. With spacious floor plans, flexible living spaces, and home technology packages, you can enjoy more cozy moments and sweet memories in your beautiful new home. With new home communities opening throughout the Seattle area, D.R. Horton has the ideal home for you. Visit drhorton.com to learn more. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
Hey, it's Mike Rohn. If I have a choice, I like to do business with companies that actually stand for something. That's why I switched from Verizon to Pure Talk. No offense to Verizon, I'm sure they stand for something. I just don't know what it is. Pure Talk, on the other hand, is a veteran-owned company that supports our military in a big way, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I also appreciate unlimited talk and text and plenty of data for half the cost of the big guys, and I do like being on America's most dependable 5G network for just $20 a month, but what I really appreciate is no contract, no cancellation fees, and Pure Talk's commitment to handle all their customer service in this country. I saw it for myself. I went to Georgia, I got a tour of their headquarters, I met their CEO, and I talked to the same customer service folks that you'll talk to when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Switch today and save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Pure Talk, a wireless company that actually stands for something.
Comcast Business is celebrating Small Business Month by giving you a $1,000 small business bonus when you switch to a qualifying gig speed package from the company with over 99.99% network reliability. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 1, company merch for staff. Styling. Or possibility number 24, the latest software, upgrade. Or possibility number 192, new equipment powered by gig speeds. Or possibility number 555, a 3D printer. Rapid prototyping, anyone? Switch to Comcast Business for over 99.99% network reliability, advanced cybersecurity, and now get started with a $1,000 small business bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
And 6/22/25. New customers only with 2-year agreement. Other restrictions apply.
Spring is back. Our bats are back. Is your postnasal drip and congestion back as well? Hi, this is Dr. Ryan Stern with the Stern Sinus Center. We are a proud national center of excellence for helping hundreds of patients with Rynair. For those of you sick of searching for another allergy medication, Rynair is a minimally invasive procedure that significantly reduces postnasal drip, congestion, and stuffiness after only one treatment. Come see us in Auburn or Federal Way. Book your appointment at sternsinus.com. That's sternsinus.com.
The home of the Mariners.
It is gone! Cal Raleigh, 2-run home run.
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, Mike Salk here, and great news. This August, luxury awaits at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. Yes, the hotel is finally opening. You can book now for an unforgettable summer experience at snocasino.com. Breathtaking views of the Cascades in Snoqualmie Valley, an expanded non-smoking gaming floor, awesome destination spa, a 2,000-seat entertainment space and convention center, and yes, new food venues, restaurants as well. You can book at snocasino.com. Seattle's closest. It's now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
G. Scott here with former Seahawks Cliff Averill and Doug Baldwin. I heard you guys are having a celebrity pickleball tournament to raise money for Nourishing Champions. Why pickleball?
Obviously, it's a growing sport, but also this model is that we will actually be playing with community.
We are the most competitive people, so regardless of how sorry Doug might be, he will be out there competing like it's a Super Bowl.
Sign up for the Celebrity Pickleball Tournament, open to all skill levels. For details, go to championsofchangefoundation.org/ pickleball.
Feeling lucky? Don't miss the Lucky Classic Collector Car Truck and Boat Auction, Saturday, May 31st at Tacoma's LeMay Marymount Event Center. Hundreds of cars, vintage, muscle, exotic, classics, trucks, boats, and more. Saturday, May 31st at Tacoma's LeMay Marymount Event Center. Millions of dollars in inventory, many must sell with no reserve whatsoever. Get lucky, get local, and get in line for the Northwest's greatest collector car auction. Auction details at luckyoldcar.com.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Now, Bump, here I thought that the Seahawks had an okay offseason and what I thought was a really good draft.
Mm-hmm.
Is that how you'd sum up their offseason?
Okay, I would say it was good for their situation. You had a quarterback who didn't want to be here, a wideout who didn't want to be here.
Right.
I don't think these two analysts took that into consideration when they're talking about the Seahawks offseason.
What grade would you give the Seahawks for the entirety of their offseason? This is the segment.
It's including the draft too, right?
Including the draft.
I'll give them a B.
I think I would too.
Yeah.
Shale Kapadia of The Ringer gave them a C-.
They had a mediocre offense last year, and they replaced Geno Smith with Sam Darnold. They replaced DK Metcalf with Cooper Kupp. They replaced Ryan Grubb with Clint Kubiak, and they add one offensive lineman who is a rookie in Gray Zabel. So that does not inspire me. As I've mentioned before, I'm giving them a C-.
What would make him feel differently? The return of those two players you mentioned.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I looked at this roster and I was like, if they had Geno Smith and DK Metcalf, I wonder what my prediction would be for this team, Mike McDonald, in year two. Maybe with an offensive coordinator who I felt like had a stronger track record than Clint Kubiak. But the reason I didn't go lower is because I don't like the plan, but I do understand what they were potentially trying to do here. I don't agree with it. I don't agree with their assessments or their evaluations. And I don't think the downside is that low because I think if they have a bad season, it's like they're going to, be back to the drawing board at quarterback, but they're really only locked into Darnold for one season when you look at kind of the guarantees there. So it comes down to, I don't buy that Darnold is going to be the same guy he was in Minnesota. And I don't buy that Clint Kubiak is like some kind of offensive savant who can coach around O-line deficiencies. And it's going to look totally different this year.
I have another voice to get to, but first, what do you think about Shale's points?
I think they're fair. I think that Sam does have to prove it another year, and either you believe him or you don't, or let's wait and see. As far as Kubiak, you look at the Saints' numbers last year, there's nothing that says that he is a savant when it comes to offensive coordinating. But if you watch the film, you can kind of see what he's trying to do. When it comes to the quarterback thing, I have a strong opinion about that because
what is it?
Because what were they supposed to do?
Yep.
Who was out there? You had Sam Darnold, Aaron Rodgers, and Kirk Cousins. Hey, you don't want to bring in Aaron Rodgers. You don't want to bring in Kirk Cousins. Those guys are old. Sam was the youngest, most available quarterback out there. I think when it comes to their options, they got the best option out of those three.
So I agree with you, but I don't want to be boring, so I'm going to devil's advocate for what Shale is saying. I think Shale knows, like, Geno, wanted out. And DK wanted a trade.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's now knowledge that's out there from John Schneider. I wonder if, from Shale's point of view, or someone in this camp, they would say money talks, and that the onus was then on the Seahawks to do more to retain Geno.
Yeah, they could have, but the league determines what your value is. So what are they supposed to do? Pay Geno $50 million? If the Hawks would have paid Geno $50 million a year, people would have been losing their minds here in Seattle.
Yeah.
Because now you're not able to make some other moves. I would have loved Geno back. I wanted Geno back. I believe in Geno more than I believe in Sam Darnold, right? I still need to see it. But for their circumstances, I think they're fine. He's ranking them a C, but he doesn't really dive in deep to what other moves that could have been made. I think that would help explain his C. I think that he just doesn't think that – the way I'm viewing the grade is for what they had, I think they did a good job, the situation they were in. Now, as far as upgrading, you didn't upgrade at quarterback, I don't think. I think Geno's a better quarterback. You didn't upgrade at the wideout spot. I think you just created space for someone to rise to the top. So, yeah, I understand the grade, but I think that his grading scale or the way that his grading criteria might be a bit off.
I like the draft class more than the offseason, and I feel like that's another way to sum up Shale's point. There was and would be enough here to be kind of excited about if you had an answer, the devil you know, at quarterback, right? As opposed to the devil you don't. You know what Geno's flaws are, but you also know exactly what he's going to look like.
Yep.
So you know the things that you can add to this roster to make the roster better. Better offensive linemen, improving that offensive line. Maybe a new scheme that takes advantage of your backfield and of that offensive line in a way that Ryan Grubb simply did not, right? The devil you know. You know you're going to get those picks. With Sam, do you get more? Do you get worse play under pressure? You don't know what you get. You have one season of Sam Darnold. I don't care. I already know this text is incoming. I don't care that he had 14 wins with the Vikings. It's one season. You have no idea whether he can do that again here in Seattle with worse pieces around him.
Yesterday, Curtis and I talked about, all right, who's going to lead the charge when it comes to this defense or this team? And we both said it has to be the defense because we know what they're capable of. With the offense, it's like we think they're capable of this. And I think his analysis is fair. I'm not jumping on his analysis, but I think it's just missing a part. Like for what they had, the situation they were in with their guys wanting out, I think they made the best move. At receiver, you could have gone and tried for Stephon Diggs. You could have. That's a lot of money there. And you understand you still have to build this offense. So what do? You go with a cheaper Cooper Kupp and say, let's bring him over, bring over MVS who knows this offense and allow JSN. They're rolling the dice with JSN hoping that he's going to be the number one guy. He can do it. And you roll the dice with Sam Darnold. You would have rolled the dice with Aaron Rodgers. You would have rolled it with Cousins. Just what else were they supposed to do? I understand the grade, but I think it's missing an analysis.
I agree. It's like you can take the point, like I said earlier, of, well, they should have done more to keep Geno because he's the best quarterback. I mean, Steven Ruiz said they're the only team that lost a top 10 quarterback.
And I think with these moves, especially like on the defensive line, you have Ernest Jones for a full year, that you're going to see a better first and second down defense, which is going to make their third down defense even scarier.
Even better, right?
But offensively, like they're the only team in the NFL that lost a top 10 quarterback, in my opinion. And that's what I think Geno Smith is. And like the opposite, you're replacing them with like the antithesis of what they needed, given their offensive line situation and what their problems were on offense last year.
That's not wrong at all. But let's say that money wouldn't have changed Geno's mind. Let's say that no amount of responsible money you could have given Geno would have made him want to stay here, because what the Raiders gave him was really more of like a promise that he'd still be there next year as opposed to a huge dollar amount. For the situation you were in, this is exactly the point you're making. Like, with the pieces they had, they did the most. Yeah. Now, I still would do negative marks for, like, I know that there's context around Will Fries not coming here, but, like, I still have massive concerns about the offensive line.
Yeah.
But you talked about the gambles they're making. Maybe they're gambling that, I think it's John Becton, right? That the new offensive line coach is going to be phenomenal.
Yeah. It's they did okay with what position was presented to them. I'm fine with their moves. We just don't know if it's going to work out. I'm skeptical about Sam. I want to see it. And I'm skeptical about this offensive line. But I'm also optimistic, too, because you did what you were supposed to do in the draft when addressing that offensive line. They still need, I think, a veteran to help, though.
Dave Wyman joins us next.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
What if the Mariners were fully healthy? They had their full complement of everybody in the rotation. You had Robles, you had Raley, Brash from the start of the year, I guess. 2. All of those guys are only worth 2 wins?
They're getting it done in a different kind of way. I mean, yeah, I think everything has worked out for a reason.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Summer is on everyone's mind, and many of us ladies, well, you men too, would like to get rid of that extra stubborn fat and address those areas of loose skin like around the waistline, chin, and upper arms. Maybe you've tried the lasers, fat freezing methods, even those new pills, but without getting the results you were hoping for. Introducing ProSculpt, the new one-day FDA instant permanent fat removal and skin tightening treatment. ProSculpt is minimally invasive, performed while you're fully awake, and it's gentle yet powerful. Designed to target the waistline, chin, neck, arms, and thighs, ProSculpt uses FDA-cleared plasma technology to deliver immediate and permanent fat-reducing and skin tightening results, all in just one visit. Go to ProSculpt.com today to schedule your free consultation, and for a limited time, get $250 off. Feel confident this summer with instant, permanent fat reduction and skin tightening that works for women and men too. ProSculpt.com.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
With Progressive Snapshot, you could save on auto insurance rates by driving safely, which is nice because you can just keep doing you. So keep on using that broken phone charger because it occasionally works. Keep quoting something you heard on a podcast as your own. Keep ignoring your sister's texts while you drive and after. And when baggage claim says, have a great trip, keep on saying, you too. And keep driving safely. And you could save with Snapshot from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents. Surcharge possible for unsafe driving.
Hey, Brock Ewart here for my friends over at Xfinity. You know, change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, we know that change is all around us. Songs are rewritten and remade. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists, well, they come and go. Even our taste in music, as we get older, can change a bit. But no matter how things change in 5 years, there's one thing that will stay the same. And that is the price of your internet. That's right. Xfinity is introducing a 5-year price guarantee. It means you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with their best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Are you surprised? Well, life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at Xfinity.com/deals. Now, restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August of 2024. Go check it all out right online at Xfinity.com/deals.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My car is making this noise. Sometimes it's like doot doot, and sometimes it's like grrr.
Do you have a dash light on?
Oh yeah.
Then we don't have to listen for clues. With the free Fix Finder service, we can read a check engine, ABS, or maintenance light to find the likely fix and even recommend a local shop if you need one.
So you don't need to hear the grrr.
Not with Fix Finder. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
When the heat's an 11, cool AC would be heaven.
Dayandnight.net.
Beat the rush. Act now before summer, because that heat's a real bummer.
Dayandnight.net.
Even though our Northwest summers can be spectacular, there's always a long, hot stretch that makes everyone say, man, AC sure would be nice. Well, except for that one annoying friend who won't stop talking about how great his AC is. Hi, I'm Bruce with Day and Night Plumbing and Heating. You can stay comfortably cool when those hot temps arrive. This is the time to plan ahead and call us about installing a high-efficiency AC or heat pump. Or if you have an existing system, we'll come and service it. Make sure it's running efficiently and ready to cool when you need it.
Before the summer heat wave, keep your house cool and save.
Dayandnight.net.
Save up to $6,000 on qualifying cooling equipment, plus no payments or interest for a year OAC. Don't sweat it out this summer. Stay cool with Day and Night.
Dayandnight.net.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Let's go back to the scoreboard. White Sox up big, 9-3, 11 hits for Chicago. Bottom of the 8th against the Mets. The Red Sox and Brewers are tied up 4 apiece. They're going to go into extras, end of 9 right now. The A's still up over the Astros. That score unchanged. Now top of the 7th, 3-2. Heading into the bottom of the 2nd, Pirates and D-backs. Pirates up 1-0.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is brought to you by Mazda of Everett.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Dave Wyman in studio with us, and we are talking mostly Seahawks, and then we wanted to revisit a fun conversation that Bump and I had earlier, but I'm going to start, Dave. Hi.
How you doing?
Good, with some sound. Bump and I were just talking about this, so basically we're continuing the conversation and just bringing you in for it. It's kind of like we're back to the huddle. Shil Kapadia gave the Seahawks a C- for their offseason. Here's what he said.
They had a mediocre offense last year, and they replaced Geno Smith with Sam Darnold. They replaced DK Metcalf with Cooper Kupp. They replaced Ryan Grubb with Clint Kubiak. And they add one offensive lineman who's a rookie in Gray Zabel. So that does not inspire me. As I've mentioned before, I'm giving them a C-.
Is it a fair grade? And we love Shale, I should say. He's the nicest guy and used to cover the Seahawks for ESPN, knows the team well.
What a turncoat.
Yeah. What a traitor.
Can't believe it.
Shale.
Well, I mean, we've been trying to figure this out because I saw one thing that had Vegas, the over-under win total at 7.5.
Yes.
But then I was out on the golf course last weekend, and there was a guy who had gone down to one of the casinos, and it was 8.5. So, but I'm still taking it.
Yeah.
I think, I'm looking at, well, I had Moyer in here. So, of course, it was, he almost went 16-1 or something like that. But I think he was 12-5, and I had him at 11-6. But I mean, trying to figure out like what are we missing here? And
you mean compared to the national guys, like what are they?
Yeah, are we just drinking the Kool-Aid? Do we not know enough? Do we know too much? I'm just trying to figure it out. But it's just interesting, and I said this when it was playing or before that. Kapadia comes on and says how that's a top 10 quarterback. I mean, all people did was crap on Geno for the entire season, pretty much. You look at his numbers. I mean, he had great completion percentage. The other thing is they didn't really have much of a run game. And, there were times they just had to give up on the run and just throw it, Geno. So, I mean, there was a lot of pressure on him. But, yeah, I mean, I guess when you look at it that way, he is, if you look at most of the numbers, he's a top 10 quarterback from last year, and he's gone. And then, as far as the receiving core goes, and I think before last year, if you would have said, hey, I'm going to have DK, I'm going to have, JSN and Tyler Lockett, or I'm going to have what we have now, which is JSN still, but then you got MVS, and then you got Cooper Kupp. So a lot of people thought that was a downgrade. I don't know. I saw it as kind of a lateral move, but I would have to say that I probably would have thought those three were better. The ones that we had, DK and Tyler. So that's where I think it comes from. The other thing is you got a new coach. It's his first year. He goes with this Ryan Grubb guy. It doesn't work out. Now they're going, through their second coaching staff. And by the way, it's not like a total turnover because there's a lot of coaches that are still there that were on the offense. Including my guy, KP, Kennedy Polamalu, who's the running back coach. I have to talk to him about Kenny Mack, by the way. What's going on there? Yeah, I know. Yeah. Everybody's always, I hear Bump talking about it. You guys talking about Kenny. It. Yeah. But, I mean, I guess I can see that from a national perspective, and it kind of just opened my eyes. I'm like, okay, what are we missing? And I think that's it. I mean, look, the quarterback position is the most important by far. And, if you look at a top 10 quarterback that's leaving your program, then, I mean, I get that part of it, the receiving core thing. And so, I don't know, it just feels to me like this is going to be a better team. But the other thing we had was a complaint-free draft. Right? I mean, everybody liked Gray Zabel, even though he's from a smaller school. I thought he did to some of the smaller schools. He did things that you should do against guys like that. It was just like he would just shove a guy. They had some 240-pound edge rushers every once in a while. And they played a pretty tough schedule, but yeah, I mean, I think for the most part, it looked like everybody got what they wanted out of that. I saw a poll where it was like ranked the third best draft. So, yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at those things, and I guess other people are looking at those other things. So I'm starting to kind of see my way clear to why Sheil Kapadia, gives them a C minus?
C
minus.
Yeah.
C minus, yeah.
No, I told Stacy, I understand why he would give them a C, but I think his analysis is missing something because Geno wanted out, DK wanted out, and you have to find the best situation for you out that whole deal. So you bring over Sam Darnold. I didn't want Aaron Rodgers. I didn't want Kirk Cousins. Sam Darnold's probably the best available young quarterback. He's 27 years old. You have an out during that second year. And the thing that I think is killing people is that you just don't know what the offense is going to look like. You look at the defense and you're thinking, okay, top 10, maybe top 5 defense, and you look at all the additions that they have. The offense, I think, is what deterred Sheil from giving them a higher grade, just because we just don't know. But I think in that situation, you got to grade on a curve. It's like, all right, well, what was their situation? For their situation, I think they did okay.
Yeah. I've heard also from, word kind of leaks out or whatever, that there were a lot of players that did not like the offensive coaching staff, particularly Ryan Grubb. So, and we saw DK yell at him, but I don't know that he was well liked. And I don't think it was a personal thing. I think it was just more of what's he asking us to do? And if you're an offensive lineman, why not help out, your offensive line? Don't put them on an island. Run things that they can run instead of what you want to run. Assess your offensive line and how good are we? Okay, we need to run these kinds of plays. And and they caught fire a couple times. I thought the game at Phoenix was awesome. I mean, they had 185 rushing. I thought it was really well balanced the way they played. Whatever, I think it's set up to exploit their defense. That was when they were doing the kind of post and pull type of run game rather than the stretch stuff. And so, that seemed to fit them. But there was just glimpses of that. Every once in a while, it's like, oh, yeah, this guy, I mean, he looks so comfortable running this offense. But then a lot of times you just saw where it looked like everybody's looking at each other like, whose guy was that?
I like you and Paul wondering, is there something we're missing? Because I've been thinking about it now for several minutes, wondering, if my own projection for the Seahawks is more optimistic than a C or more optimistic than, let's say, 8 wins, 7 wins. Well, why? And while I do think, sometimes just trusting a team and knowing a team plays into that, I wonder if, Dave, it's also because there are players lesser known to a national audience that you're thinking of. For instance, big fan of Steven Ruiz and Sheil, but Sheil no longer covers this team day to day. And even though both watch plenty of tape on this team, they're limited because they have to cover 32 teams. So are they paying close attention to Zach Charbonnet's development, to, the tight end room, to some younger guys, Olu Oluwatimi, maybe, I know that some local guys have some optimism he can take a step forward. Are they paying as close attention to Boye Mafe or some other pieces, right? When you're a national guy or gal, Devin Witherspoon, and Geno, and DK, and Tyler. 3 of those guys are gone.
That's probably pretty much it, right?
So my question was going to be if there are lesser-known names that are factoring into your own expectation for this team.
Yeah, I mean, look, you always have to, check yourself. You go out to practice and watch, and you can, see your way clear to, okay, I could see 10 wins here, 11 wins, and, yeah, I feel like at running back is going to be really interesting. I really like, you mentioned the tight ends. I really like the tight end room. I think Barner had a good rookie year. I mean, it wasn't like he didn't light the world on fire, but some of the things that he did, and I think he can be like a complete tight end just because his blocking and the sense of, how long to block a guy, when to let go when you're holding, because they hold every play, but it's just like, when to, and he kind of figured that out. And then just some of the routes and the things that he did discipline-wise, like on the backside of a play that's going the other way. I mean, and then this Arroyo kid, I mean, he's not much of a blocker, but he's 6'5", 255, and Schneider said they can use him as an X, as a wideout. So, and then Noah Fant has just been pretty solid. I don't know about his cap number, but anyway, yeah, I mean, there's just chunks to really like, and I don't know, I'm thinking with Sam Darnold that it was significant that he decided to go and play as a backup in San Francisco so he could be with Kubiak, and I think that counts for a lot.
Yeah, that's what I keep hearing about this offensive staff, too, is that they all know each other for the most part. There's like continuity there. So you bring over Sam Darnold, who knows this offense. It gives them a chance. I still don't know, Dave. I'm sitting here saying, I think he can do it, and ask me week 4 or 5, and then I'll give you a definitive answer. What do you think is the key for Sam Darnold? Because we know he's injury prone. I forgot who we had on the show. Maybe he was on your show. We took a clip, and he says, look, he's going to turn the football over. I don't think that's going to be fixed. So what do you expect from Sam?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm expecting more like what you saw the first 15 games. But I don't know, if you just look at the numbers, you would go, no way, right? Because was it 7 years, 6 years,
He's
5
been
years
in the league
where he was no good, basically. I mean, yeah. So, I mean, really, you have 15 games to go on because the last 2 kind of stunk for him. And if you watch that, the Ram game and listening to. What's the guy? I think his name's Paul Allen, the radio guy. And he's like, get rid of it, man. What are you doing? You're holding the ball. And there was just a lot of frustration built up there.
I wanted to get to, we have lots of other Seahawks questions, but kind of a fun conversation Bump and I were having earlier. And we're both catching heat for different parts of our lists. But that's okay. We were ranking what we felt were the most untouchable Seattle athletes. So this is a mix of, at least in my view, guys that are untouchable because they're like on a Mount Rushmore of some of the best athletes, and then guys that are untouchable for like no reason. So like I did not have Steve Largent on my list because I chose instead to have like Marshawn Lynch and Jake Locker, who are the latter a little more confusing, but just like fan favorites.
Yeah.
Like and someone much younger might not understand, but like I'm telling you, like every dude I know has talked at some point about how he went to a college party with Jake Locker, or he played like on a high school team against Jake Locker. Like maybe it's more of I'm in that age group of like everyone loved Jake Locker, despite the fact that he was kind of a bust in the NFL. Who would be what's a common name on your list where you're like, of course, and then who would you put on that list where you're like someone might disagree, but.
Well, I heard you guys. I think somebody didn't have Cal Raleigh.
I didn't have Cal.
Yes, but then but I convinced.
Yeah,
because he needs to age a little bit.
Yeah.
I like Cal. I think he is just the most steady human being ever, and it's really obviously you can see. Number one, there's a couple of things that stood out to me. One is when he was in the minor leagues, he got kicked out of a game for barking at the umpire behind the plate, and he had just had it, and so he just snapped, and he was just screaming at the guy. Then the same thing happened, I think it was his first year or second year, where he had a mound visit with Brash, and Brash was out there talking, and it just pissed him off. And so he just started tearing into him right there. But he is also the same guy who, like when we were down at spring training, everybody's gone, and he comes walking out with a bunch of shoes and boxes under his arm, and he's like, hey, you still on the clock? What's going on? He comes over and just starts chatting. He's just a good, solid, he's like everybody's favorite guy. So, yeah, to me, I think Cal is definitely going to be on the list. I think you're right, though, about it. He does have to age. I like the Lenny Wilkens one, too, because I did a radio, when I was a player, I did a remote thing with him, and just the coolest, nicest guy ever. Yeah. And just everything he said was gold, So, I thought it was interesting that the list, I haven't compiled mine, but I didn't hear Richard Sherman.
No, because I don't think I think there are people that don't like Richard Sherman. So, like, I didn't have Sherm. I didn't have, and I think that far more people love Sherm. So again, if I was coming up with like most impactful or influential Seattle athletes, Richard Sherman would be on it. Yeah. Like him or not, Russell Wilson would be on it. Steve Largent obviously would have been on it. But I was thinking of guys that people just like. I debated like Will Dissly, like guys that people just randomly will be like, They love that guy.
Right.
Despite,
Lofa.
Lofa. Yeah, like people just love them. And I jokingly told Brent that I was initially going to do it in tiers of like tier 1, these people could commit murder.
Yeah.
And people would still love them. And Griffey was going to be on it.
Well, and you had Marshawn on there, and he had some trouble.
Yeah. I mean,
And
it's
people
just,
still love him, and he's still doing commercials.
That's what I'm
and-
saying. It's just
yeah.
there are, I don't know what makes certain guys fan favorites. I'm trying to find the common thread.
Yeah. I think somebody that they can relate to, that they meet him somewhere, you watch him, and you're just like, wow, he is so awesome. And then you get a chance to meet him, and you're like, man, and he's a good dude. You know,
It's
and
the good dude or funny dude factor.
Right. Yeah. So, I thought it was an interesting list, and yeah, I agreed with. I mean, I don't know how I could narrow it down to a top 10, but yeah, there's been some real. You mentioned Walter Jones, you know, but you know, then there's some other guys like, and this is to make your point, like the criteria. Steve Hutchinson is awesome. Right, but he's just not very talkative, and he's not like a super friendly guy. He's not a jerk or anything at all. But like, you know, if you see him, he's just gonna kind of, hey, how you doing? That's it. You know, I mean, that's just who he is. So he doesn't really fit in the category that you guys came up with.
Yeah.
So that would be it's kind of an interesting one, just because you're talking about like your fandom more than. You know, like off the field.
That's the thing, and like a little bit of like if it's just the best Seattle players ever, it's just that's all it is.
Yeah,
that's kind of boring.
Right.
You got to mix it up a little bit and have some spice in there.
Yeah, that's the spice.
Yeah, add a little bit of spice, a little bit of something fun. Did you see Brent Stecker? This was on Blue Sky, not Twitter, but he had, in the spirit of this, here's my list of 10 most touchable people in Seattle sports history. He had Clay Bennett and Howard Schultz number 1.
Okay.
Jimmy Graham made the list. Jamal Adams, Percy Harvin, Sean Figgins, Jim Mora Jr., a couple other names that were funny. I thought that was a funny twist on it.
Yeah, that
Just
was a
the
good
most
one.
hated people.
Jim Mora, yeah, I remember watching him chasing Aaron Curry, his number 4 pick or number 9 pick, whatever he
It
was.
was like top 5, I want to say.
Yeah, just chasing him out onto the field, just tearing into him because he was a little bit late. But I like Jim Mora. I mean, he was a nice enough guy. But yeah, I can understand where he would be somebody that you might go, that guy's just okay.
And he cut me, so.
Oh, there you go. I have that same feeling about Shanahan. Any coach that you go out on, you don't like him. Yeah.
Oh, no.
I'm gonna switch things up a little bit, man. I know we're asking you about football, but you do have a 4-hour show that you do every day, and you talk more than just football.
Yes.
And I was listening to you guys talk about the rotation yesterday, and I've heard lots of takes. Use a 6-man rotation. Don't send Bryce Miller down. Just what's your view on the situation when everyone's healthy and say everyone is still performing at the level that we see when it comes to these arms? What do you want to see done?
Well, I think after having heard from like Charlie Furbush and Ryan Rowland Smith, they both said these guys get pretty particular about when they go and then if you extend it out. But my first blush, and especially after last night watching Logan Evans, it was phenomenal. You would think, man, it would be a nice luxury to have because you stretch it out for the starters as far as a 6-man rotation, and then you hopefully save your bullpen.
Yeah.
And yet I'm more stuck on, hey, let's just get the 5. And just from what I heard from Charlie and Ryan, that let's just go with the 5-man rotation. And I don't know. I guess for me, I would like to have a long reliever, so I would take Logan Evans and have him go into the bullpen. But yeah, there's a lot of people that think, no, you don't want to do that to him because then it changes his ritual and everything. And he ends up going 7 innings last night. So yeah, I mean, it's a great problem to have because I think the thing that's been looming over Mariner baseball over the last 2 or 3 years is how are you going to pay all those guys? And we know that they're probably not going to pay everybody.
Yeah.
So just to know that they're able to not only find the right talent, but then develop it. And then, I think Smoltz this morning with Brock and Salk was talking about how they put so much money and time and resources, is the word he used, into developing those guys. And also, just like Logan Gilbert seems perfectly happy. Like it seems like when he explained yesterday about how the cutter, it felt like it always does, or something like that, where you could kind of tell that he's down because they're being extra careful with him.
Yeah.
And they're kind of playing the long game as far as that goes, which is, I think, really smart. I think they do a great job developing those guys. So it's good to know that you have a guy like Logan Evans that could fit in that starting rotation, and you don't really have a place for him.
What are your thoughts on Dan Wilson?
I'm
trying to figure him out.
I asked him during spring training, I go, how many games are you going to get thrown out of?
That's an important question.
He's just the nicest guy in the world, and I never thought I would see it, but I was reading his lips. I didn't see. I think there was a lot of dead gummit and that kind of thing. I don't think there was any swearing or anything. But yeah, I mean, as far as his day-to-day, who he pinch hits for and things like that, I'm always like, okay, I'm just going to stay in my lane on this one. He has all the information. And that was the one thing that I think bothered me during that conversation, is that there were people that thought he didn't have the information. Clearly he didn't have, the righty-lefty or whatever. But, a lot of times you go with the gut feeling.
Yep.
Is that the same in football coaching, Bump, you think?
Yeah, I think you rely on your study, but when you're in the moment, you're dealing with human beings.
Right.
And, I've never lost a game on paper, Dave. I'm undefeated. But then you start dealing with human beings, things change a little bit.
Every play should work, right?
Yeah.
What's the biggest mistake you can make as a coach?
Just second guessing yourself, even if it's the wrong decision. If you're getting paid to make the decision, you make the decision and you help everyone believe in what you're doing. And if you aren't confident and assertive and the people following you sniff that out, you'll lose everybody.
That's a great point.
When you see coaches failing, is it usually that?
Yeah, I totally agree. You've got to be large and in charge and just say hey, I've heard stories from coaching staffs that are hey, if we're going to go down, we're going to go down swinging and we're going to go down running my place.
Right.
Because a lot of coaches are coaching for the next job. There's, you ever look at Steve Spagnuolo, the D coordinator for the Chiefs. If you go and look at his history of where he's been, he is just a career coach, and now he's found a home. But I think there was 20 stops along the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dave.
Well, it was fun.
Man, that was an easy 23 minutes right there.
You can hear more from Wyman on Wyman and Bob beginning at 2. Let's see what's on tonight.
That's his warm up.
What's on tonight with Bump and Stacy, brought to you by Caesars Sportsbook at Muckleshoot. Now, here's what's on tonight.
George Kirby makes his second start of the season tonight against the Nationals. Pregame starts at 5:30. First pitch at 6:40 right here on Seattle Sports. 4 Down Territory coming your way next.
Home cooking. That's what I'm talking about. Some garlic fries, of course, some Moto pizza out in the pen. Man, so good. The first place Mariners return home with a bang.
Cal Raleigh with another home run.
Tonight, they go for 2 straight in Game 2 against the Nationals. Wyman and Bob take you up to pregame at 5:30. First pitch at 6:40 on the home of the Mariners and the race for the AL West. Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
The American Band, the legendary Grand Funk Railroad, is rolling into Muckleshoot Event Center Wednesday, August 6th with special guest Jefferson Starship. Don't miss this night of classic rock that defined a generation. Get tickets now at muckleshootcasino.com. Grand Funk Railroad with special guest Jefferson Starship. Only at Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
Feeling lucky? Don't miss the Lucky Classic Collector Car Truck and Boat Auction, Saturday, May 31st at Tacoma's LeMay Marymount Event Center. Hundreds of cars, vintage, muscle, exotic, classics, trucks, boats, and more. Saturday, May 31st at Tacoma's LeMay Marymount Event Center. Millions of dollars in inventory, many must sell with no reserve whatsoever. Get lucky, get local, and get in line for the Northwest's greatest collector car auction. Auction details at luckyoldcar.com.
G. Scott here with former Seahawks Cliff Averill and Doug Baldwin. I heard you guys are having a celebrity pickleball tournament to raise money for nourishing champions. Why pickleball?
Obviously, it's a growing sport, but also this model is that we will actually be playing with community.
We are the most competitive people, so regardless of how sorry Doug might be, he will be out there competing like it's a Super Bowl.
Sign up for the Celebrity Pickleball Tournament, open to all skill levels. For details, go to championsofchangefoundation.org/pickleball.
Now is the perfect time to start on your next success. An accredited state university, University of Maryland Global Campus offers online and hybrid courses. Plus, you can earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning and work experience, or transfer up to 12 credits toward a master's. No application fee if you apply by May 30th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
When you switch to Progressive, you could save bundling your home and auto. Then you could put that money towards some of the surprisingly more expensive things in life.
May I help you?
I just wanted to request a late checkout, please.
Of course. That's $30 per hour for up to 4 hours.
Huh. Okay, but if you can offer a late checkout, then that probably means no one is staying in that room. So if it's empty, maybe I can just stay a few extra hours.
Oh, aren't you adorable?
Life costs a lot, so bundle and you could save with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Comcast Business is celebrating Small Business Month by giving you a $1,000 small business bonus when you switch to a qualifying gig speed package from the company with over 99.99% network reliability. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 1. Company merch for staff. Styling. Or possibility number 24, the latest software. Upgrade. Or possibility number 192, new equipment powered by gig speeds. Or possibility number 555, a 3D printer. Rapid prototyping, anyone? Switch to Comcast Business for over 99.99% network reliability, advanced cybersecurity, and now get started with a $1,000 small business bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
In 6/22/25, new customers only with 2-year agreement. Other restrictions apply.
The home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Cal swinging a drive, deep to right field.
Every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
So I formed Davis Law Group about 30 years ago, and I would get, the same questions from people about what to do in the case of an accident. Do you need a lawyer? To the point where I decided that I would at least write a book which would answer the common questions that I would receive as a lawyer. Once I wrote my first book, it proved to be hugely popular. I decided to write then a series of books in different accident cases so that we could really teach people about their rights, how to protect them, and how to decide on whether they need a lawyer and what lawyer to hire. I've found in my career that having a client that is educated and knowledgeable about their particular type of case really helps the client and also usually ends up making the case or the claim more successful. To get your free copy of any of my Washington accident books, visit WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Hey, Riverside Roofing is offering $1,000 off a new replacement right now. That's huge, $1,000 off. Quite the incentive for homeowners to book their roof replacement right now. It's Mike Salk here, and it really is a great time to do it. These days are getting long, right? Sunsets after 8 o'clock. Crews can get your roof done quick. So take advantage now before demand spikes this summer, making those repairs costly and time-consuming as well. Here's what you got to do to claim your $1,000 off from Riverside Roofing. Book a free estimate from the website, riversideroofingllc.com. And then you'll meet with Brandon, that's Don's son. Just tell him you heard the message here on the radio station. $1,000 back in your pocket, and yes, a brand new roof over your head. And while you're there, ask Brandon about their 35 years of local experience, GAF Master Elite certification, which puts them in the top 3% of roofers in the nation, and of course the catch-all system, which they use to keep your yard and driveway totally free of debris like nails or shingles. Go to riversideroofingllc.com. Remember, Riverside Roofing is the roofing company you can trust.
This hour is brought to you by Mazda of Everett.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
What makes a bad coach so bad? I was going to do 4 down territory. I'm sorry, Matt. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to. I know.
Sorry enough.
Matt's over here just doing his job. I'm sorry. No, we were having.
Matt's mad that it's sunny outside and we're in here.
I know.
And that was just like the last
really
straw.
About. But I promise that I switched it for good reason because this is genuinely a really fun conversation. I promise, Matt, you're gonna love it. Well, you won't. You won't care.
No, it's not gonna love it.
Guaranteed, I won't.
But I think listeners will prefer this conversation. The last question that we asked Dave Wyman, well, technically, I asked you out of curiosity, and then you guys were talking about it having both coached. I just said, what's the worst thing a coach can do and the best thing a coach can do? And I wanted to talk about what makes bad coaches bad. I think it's an open-ended question. I think there are a lot of answers because I can promise you that there are very few people that become, let's say, NFL head coaches that don't clearly know ball.
Yeah. Now, coaches, for the most part, know enough. Now, I'm sure there are some guys out there perpetrating, faking the funk out there, got a job because they know somebody that knows somebody. And there are definitely players in the NFL that know more than some coaches, especially when we're talking about veterans and quarterbacks or whatnot. But what makes a bad coach is poor communication. If I've been coached by guys who I just couldn't relate to and they couldn't communicate the way that I can receive it. And that he might be just a bad coach to me. To Lil Bobby, he might be a good coach. Lil Bobby understands exactly what he's talking about.
God love Lil Bobby.
And, grew up in the same area, used some of the same words or whatnot. But it's about communicating in a way that allows your athlete to effectively execute what you're trying to do or attempt to execute because you're not always going to be perfect in that execution. But that's the main thing is being effective communicators. And going off a little bit of what Wyman was saying, it sounds like Grubb might not have been a great communicator at this level.
Yeah.
Maybe, we know for sure at the college level he is because, you see what he did with UW.
Yeah.
But that's the main thing. You got to be able to communicate.
What about being inauthentic or not confident?
Oh, that's real. I remember I was on a team. Dang. People can do their homework if they want to with this one. So
leave it very vague so you don't get in trouble.
And we had a young position coach. And he is talking to the position group, and the head coach comes over, and you see him get nervous because he's giving us direction. Now, this coach has gone off and done great things. I follow his career. I still talk to him now. But as soon as the head coach came around, he got a little nervous. And the head coach even said, "Dan, you nervous?
Yeah.
Spit it out." You know what I mean? So you have to be confident, especially in a room where you have some older vets. They will sniff it out. As soon as you go pro, and you start dealing with grown men in their 30s who've been here for a while, if you don't know what you're talking about or you are not authentic and confident, you lose them quickly. The younger guys will still buy in because that's your coach and you're trying to make a good impression. But I've seen older guys just chew up young coaches who aren't confident.
What makes a bad coach bad? You can join this conversation. I'll keep an eye on the text line 866-979-3776. When I think of bad coaches, it's just easy for me to think of NFL coaches because we end up covering so many of their careers. But Matt Patricia did not work out as a head coach with the Lions. Was not only that, but disliked by a lot of players, including Quandre Diggs, who we were able to get some insight. Another former Seahawk, not a huge fan of Matt Patricia, so we were able to hear plenty about it. A reporter that I ran into in a press box during a Lions game, not a fan of Matt Patricia, just not well liked. And I was thinking, I think I would buy that Matt Patricia, who's seemingly a very smart guy, was like himself, but there's a little bit of the Belichick tree that just emulates Bill Belichick, and it doesn't work without the winning.
Yeah.
And it's a very abrasive way to coach. Belichick started a long time ago. He didn't roll out in the mid-2010s trying to be a hard A.
And coach. I'm sure Bill's personality has been pretty consistent over the years, but you start winning, you're allowed to be a bit more abrasive. You're allowed to demand more. So for someone to try to emulate exactly what Bill Belichick was or is without the resume or the work that he's put in, that ain't gonna work, especially at the professional level. I think dealing with today's athlete is the most difficult it's ever been because one, they're getting paid a lot more than you, and society says they should be able to speak their mind and express themselves. So when I was coming up, it was like, you shut up and get in line and don't say anything at any level unless you are in the pros and you've got like 8 to 10 years worth of work. It's just it's a different game now for
just
these
more
coaches.
pushback for a lot of these coaches, and a lot of like, well, I prefer to be coached this way, and it's like, well, deal.
Yeah.
I think that good coaches can fall into bad habits. So another bad coaching habit, in addition to being inauthentic, not confident, is maybe a failure to adapt.
Yep.
And maybe being too loyal to the wrong people. Like, I think Pete Carroll's one of the best coaches I've ever covered. And like a good dude, well liked by a lot of people. And I think that part of the end of his tenure wasn't just what happens to every head coach ever, which is your team starts to struggle in a league built for parity and then you're out.
Yep.
It's maybe being too loyal to some of the wrong people.
My first year at Monroe High School, I was a 28-year-old head coach. Every coach that I hired on my staff was older than me by years. And I remember I hired this guy because my athletic director really liked him, but there was something about him I'm like, I don't know. And within a month of him being on my staff in the summertime, like I told my athletic director, like, we got to get rid of this guy. Like, it's just his mind isn't in the right place. The kids don't like him. Like, he answered a phone call during like a meeting that we had. It was just a bad look. But I learned real quickly that you have to make those difficult decisions to keep your team, because you will lose your squad. And I think that's what Mike McDonald did with the Ryan Grubb situation. Not to say that Grubb was a bad person or a bad coach, but there was something that wasn't clicking with him, and it sounds like it wasn't clicking with the rest of the team either. So what does Mike McDonald do? He wastes no time, and he makes that change. The tough part is he's got to hit with this one now. He's got to hit, because if he doesn't hit with Kubiak, then it seems like he's going to be perceived as not being able to put the right people in place on that side of the football. We know defensively he's going to be on point, but that's part of being a good coach too, is recognizing a problem, even if it's tough, and not being afraid to make a decision that can affect your team positively or negatively.
Can I tell you, though, the thing that I don't want to say I fear it necessarily with Kubiak, but I wonder if it's a factor with younger coaches. One thing that I didn't wonder or worry about with Pete Carroll was that he would know who he is. He knew who he was. He knew who he wanted to be. He knew what his philosophy was and his culture was, and he was building it up effectively, because that was exactly who you see Pete Carroll in front of the camera or in a post-game press conference. That's who he is 1,000% of the time. There's a confidence there that just was, because by the time he got to the league, he had already established that for decades.
Yep.
I do wonder that with Kubiak. Like, is there going to be, and I wondered it a little bit with Dan, is there a part of, Dan was a first-time manager, Kubiak not a first-time OC, but is young. Is there a newness that will make them less confident at times? I don't know. I just wonder.
I think with Kubiak, he's been around the NFL for a while, though, man.
Oh, his whole life.
You know, I think with Grubb, I mean, his come up has been great. You watch where Grubb started and where he is now.
Scaling that ladder.
Hey, love it. But you don't know what you don't know. And because Kubiak has been around professional ball players, professional coaches, he's called games in this league for a couple of teams. He has a better chance of having success than Grubb did. I'm not going to lie, I love that McDonald went out on a limb and got Ryan Grubb. Right? He's looking at the offense and saying, this is the type of guy I like. He convinced him he's going to run the football. But sometimes you got to take a step back and go for more of a for sure thing. Nothing is for sure, but if you're looking at Kubiak's resume and what he's done in the league, he's got experience, so hopefully it works out.
All right, get your questions in for What I Need to Know, 866-979-3776. Send those in now.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
The Olympics used to be a huge deal. I think it still is. I was listening to Ryan Rowland-Smith talking about playing for your country. I think that that's a big deal in almost any sport except for the NFL.
I don't want any of my starters out there.
Why risk anyone over a fake game of football?
Yeah.
That's what the players who don't make it are for.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Hey guys, did you know that half of men over age 50 have erectile dysfunction on some level? Whether you have mild, moderate, or severe ED, West Coast Men's Health can help. We don't prescribe pills and hope they work. Instead, we treat the root cause of the problem with acoustic wave therapy, which breaks down plaque, unclogs arteries, and restores blood flow. We have treated thousands of men across our 11 locations nationwide and have established ourselves as a leader in the industry. So whether you have ED, Peyronie's disease, or suffer from chronic pain, such as neuropathy, carpal tunnel, or Dupuytren's contracture, West Coast Men's Health can help. No pills, no shots, no surgery, just results.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call West Coast Men's Health at 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends over at Xfinity. You know, change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, we know that change is all around us. Songs are rewritten and remade. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists, well, they come and go. Even our taste in music, as we get older, can change a bit. But no matter how things change in 5 years, there's one thing that will stay the same. And that is the price of your internet. That's right. Xfinity is introducing a 5-year price guarantee. It means you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with their best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Are you surprised? Well, life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at Xfinity.com/deals. Now, restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August of 2024. Go check it all out right online at Xfinity.com/deals.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out collection letters, garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it even harder to get out of debt. Don't let tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in taxpayer assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Let them fight on your behalf, helping to put your tax problems to rest. Call the tax professionals at Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Hi, this is Nancy Penrose, owner of Big Trees in Snohomish. Spring has sprung. Need color to brighten up your yard or privacy trees to keep your neighbors guessing? Now is the time to buy. With hundreds of trees arriving in the nursery daily, Big Trees has the perfect tree for you. Check out our updated inventory list online at bigtreesupply.com or come visit the nursery today.
The home of the Mariners.
Left off to center. It is on its way. Julio, 2-run home run.
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Ladies, and you guys too, have you noticed visible signs of aging, those deep wrinkles, fine lines, and facial creases stealing your youthful glow? Sagging skin, crow's feet, and loss of facial contour are all natural effects of aging, but you no longer have to let them define your appearance. Introducing the new Skin Lift, the groundbreaking facelift led by Dr. Brian Scott. The advanced new Skin Lift addresses key signs of facial aging for women and men, restoring natural youthful contours. Whether it's replenishing volume lost over time or lifting the skin to smooth out those creases, the new Skin Lift can help you look 10 to 20 years younger with both surgical and non-surgical options. It's Hollywood's best kept secret and now available to you. Get a free consultation and save $250 off your new skin facelift. Schedule at newskinlift.com or 206-222-1225. Look 10 to 20 years younger and restore your youthful appearance with the new skin facelift. newskinlift.com.
No matter how old you get, you always remember that one great teacher. Hi, this is Rick Riz, inviting you to join WSECU in celebrating Teacher of the Week. Great teachers inspire. Nominate a teacher you feel has changed a life in our community. This year, we're going to honor 24 great teachers with grants of $500, courtesy of WSECU, the credit union for Washington. Teachers are the real MVPs. Nominate an exceptional teacher now at mynorthwest.com/teacher.
Luxury awaits at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. It's Mike Salk here, and you can book now for an unforgettable summer experience opening this August. Wake up to breathtaking Cascade views with world-class dining and play your favorite games. Visit snocasino.com, Seattle's closest. It's now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
Hey 12s, Steve Rabel here, voice of your Seattle Seahawks. The wait is over, and tickets are on sale now for our historic 50th season. This season is going to be legendary, with past, present, and future colliding at Lumen Field. Get your tickets today at Seahawks.com/tickets.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Get your questions in for What I Need to Know, 866-979-3776. What I need to know. We've been talking about weather, especially in 4-down territory. When I won, because Bump complained about weather. What I need to know, says one listener, would you rather be cold all the time or hot all the time?
I'd rather be hot all the time. I know it's obviously because cold you can put layers on. Hot you're just stuck. But you can do more things than being hot though.
I agree. Cold. You'd probably be a little healthier. You know, like maybe it's like hot yoga. Like your heart is just beating more. It's deeply uncomfortable. I don't like sweating, but nothing is more uncomfortable. I have memories of being cold. Like a memory of like a cold walk somewhere where you were like, oh my God, I parked so far away. Like an actual memory in my brain. That's how much I hate being cold.
I take hella showers though.
Oh, yeah, all the time. What I need to know. If Stacy had grown up in LA and Bump in SeaTac, how different would your lives be now?
Oh, Stacy would be unbearable.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh.
I would be, you think I'm insufferable now? I am. Just wait. LA Stacy? Wow, she's going to be problematic. She's just constantly going to say like, well, in LA.
Your face would be pulled back so tight.
I would have so much Botox. So much. Man. I'd be doing like 120 units. You guys don't know anything.
No idea what that means.
SeaTac Bump? Let's brainstorm that.
Oh, SeaTac Bump.
A little rough around the edges.
Yeah.
A little rough?
Yeah. There's
rough.
not the shiny, cool polish of LA. It's just... You got a Denny's, and that's kind of it.
Jack in the Box, Taco Bell.
From the wrong side of the tracks.
DoubleTree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know where to park your car.
The game we played when we were younger was, I've said this a million times, running back and forth across the street to see how many times you could go before another wave of traffic came.
Wow, that's so dangerous. That's so dangerous.
SeaTac. Shout out Tye High School. It's not
so you
Tye
got wheels
anymore.
then. You got burners.
No. No, I played it safe. I would always be left on the other side of the road. No, I definitely don't. My mom told me one time when I was younger that I run like a deer, and I thought legitimately I'm such a fast runner. But no. We'll have to try that game out here. What I need to know, it might be too much late night thinking, but where are the baby pigeons? I've never seen a picture of one. Are they just born full grown? Let me know. That's a very good question.
I've never seen
I've never seen a little pigeon in my entire life. What do baby pigeons look like?
I don't know.
I'm going to Google it right now. This is bad radio, but
they're pink.
I mean, they have to be born babies.
Closed,
they're born babies.
Some other late night thoughts. How come you never see your neighbors bring in their groceries?
I don't think I've seen it.
Yeah.
They've seen me.
I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen them.
I've never seen my neighbors bring in their groceries.
Baby pigeons look like yellow cartoon ducks.
They look like ducks.
That are warped and weird looking. They're made for the city. They're city girls. What I need to know. Your favorite sports smell?
I think there's some unique sports smells.
Yeah.
The smell of a glove.
Okay. Sure.
Ironically, like stinky pads.
Yeah, locker room.
Yeah. Oh, mine immediately is the smell of, and it's a very specific, but obviously I was a swimmer, chlorine water, but when you can tell that like the pool water has gotten onto like the pebbly surface around the pool, it's like a still chlorine water smell. I love that smell. Let's see. When Cal makes the All-Star team, do you want to see him in the home run derby?
No.
What? Bump.
I think he's got a swing that could win.
SeaTac Bump wouldn't say that. SeaTac Bump would
I'm superstitious
know that
now,
at any
man.
moment
I'm superstitious.
You just need to take advantage of the times that you have to succeed. SeaTac Bump would want to see Cal in a home run derby. I'm just going to constantly think of SeaTac Bump and what he would or wouldn't do. Like SeaTac Bump, he would handle that question differently.
Would SeaTac Bump have even gotten noticed by recruiters? Because, I mean, Tate does not have the football prowess.
I would have went nuts still.
SeaTac Bump would have changed his zip code to play for a different
I would
school.
have been recruited by Eastside Catholic or somebody.
Do you know how many SeaTac Bumps and Stacy's appear on rosters in other cities? It's very interesting. You're out on the golf course in cold and wet weather, says a listener. You struggle all around and post a bad score. Do you blame it on the conditions or yourself?
Both. It's both. You know, conditions were bad and I didn't handle it correctly.
Someone said SeaTac Bump is throwing luggage onto planes right now.
Oh, dang. Ain't nothing wrong with throwing luggage on the plane.
Yeah, those are hard workers,
Nothing
man.
wrong.
No, half my family
workers.
works for the airport. Shout out SeaTac. Shout out SeaTac. What I need to know. God, I get SeaTac Bump is such a funny concept. I can't stop it. Let's see. Oh, someone had one I can't answer. 2 weeks ago, we talked about memories of Old South Center. What about Old Seattle Center? I have no.
I mean, old Key Arena. You got the Seattle Coliseum or whatever.
I remember the old Key, yeah.
Yeah. Key Arena was my childhood. The Seattle Coliseum predates that. I don't have any memories
Do they still
of
do Bumbershoot?
I do have memories of Bumbershoot. Do they still do it? If they've stopped, it wasn't long ago that they stopped.
Yeah, I used to go to that every summer for like 3-4 summers.
You know what's crazy about Bumbershoot is they're legitimately artists that were like coming up or like big at the time, but not like they were. Like I think I saw Kanye at Bumbershoot.
I saw Wiz Khalifa there.
Yeah, like people that became massive. What I need to know. What type of food did you end up liking way more than you thought before you tried it? This listener says mine is barbecue frog legs.
Barbecue frog legs.
Listen, put barbecue sauce on anything.
Oof. Mine, you know what? Fried pickles, man. I didn't think I was going to like fried pickles. Actually pretty good.
Yeah, I think that's a good pick.
Yeah, fried
I'm
anything,
not
I'd be like, I think I'll
I'm
like
not a
it.
pickle eater normally, but fried pickles I can get down with.
I can't think of one quickly enough. Someone said Bumbershoot is back this year.
Let's go.
It's shut down, but it's back. What I need to know. What I need to know is how my wife wants me to sit next to her the whole baseball game. Dad got a pace, am I right? Do dads pace?
During games?
Yeah.
It depends. I don't pace, but I stay away from people.
That's what they said. They said, how do you watch your kids play sports, Bump?
I'm in the corner by myself. Don't talk to me.
I've seen that on TikTok and on Instagram where it's like the sibling of whoever's playing will take a video of their mom, with all the other moms cheering on, and then they'll pan over to their dad who's like off in the corner, just like laser focus on the game.
Because parents want to talk, and I'll be like, I'm not here to. I love y'all. Good
Here for the
peoples.
game.
I'm trying to watch some competition.
Oh, someone said a Bronx Bump would rock.
Bronx, East Coast.
No, I think I want like Brooklyn Bump would be so obnoxious. He just constantly
I'm walking
Brooklyn.
in.
He would just add
What?
yo at the end of stuff.
Well, I'll be out there with the
My
Knicks
Knicks are
fans and
coming
stuff,
back. They're
going
coming
crazy.
back. Brooklyn Bump would legit be hilarious. I think it's just solid. Let's see. Does Cal hit 60 homers?
Nah.
No.
No.
He's gonna take some days off, and he's gonna
No. What I need to know, what's the over-under Stacy jinxes the Mariners on this homestand? Well, I haven't said anything about them yet, so I can't jinx them, can I? They're going to sweep.
Hey, I'm looking at the some Bumbershoot lineups.
Yeah?
Weezer's
Like
gonna be
past
there.
lineups?
Nah, this year, 2025.
See, the kids can't appreciate.
Yeah, Weezer's gonna be there. All right, okay.
Let's see what I need to know. Someone said they saw Kendrick perform at Bumbershoot. That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah. All right, that'll do it for us. Now we're just getting people sending in Bumbershoot things. That'll do it for us today. Thank you again to our guests. If you miss any part of the show, go check out the Bump and Stacy podcast wherever you get your podcast. Please leave 5 stars and a review. Wyman and Bob coming up next.
Home cooking. That's what I'm talking about. Some garlic fries, and of course, some Moto pizza out in the pan. Man, so good. The first place Mariners return home with a bang.
Cal Raleigh with another home run.
tonight, they go for 2 straight in Game 2 against the Nationals. Wyman and Bob take you up to pregame at 5:30. First pitch at 6:40 on the home of the Mariners and the race for the AL West. Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Friends of Waterfront Park is announcing the Meet Me at Waterfront Park 5K on May 31st. Kick off a season of celebrations leading up to the grand opening of Waterfront Park with this all-abilities race. Experience Seattle's reimagined waterfront and be a part of history with this first ever 5K at Waterfront Park. Presented by Brooks Running. Seattle's new Waterfront Park is being built for you. Come and enjoy it. 5K registration and full schedule of events at waterfrontparkseattle.org. Brought to you by Friends of Waterfront Park.
From whiplash to herniated discs, there are a few car accident injuries we've all heard of. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains that even the most common injuries differ from one another.
Pre-existing conditions, health history, beginning of treatment. There are hundreds of factors that make every person and every injury unique. While these variables aid medical treatment, the strongest case recoveries must also take them into account.
Could you explain a little bit more?
Our team at Pendergast Law is obsessed with turning over every stone to differentiate each case. This requires thorough investigation, diligent listening, and relentless research. We never pursue cases with a one-size-fits-all approach. We built our success by treating every injury and every case with the individualized attention our clients need and deserve.
Pendergast Law's individualized approach to even the most common injuries makes the difference in case outcomes. It's another reason why I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Sometimes even heroes need rescuing.
I'm a retired firefighter, 27 years.
Kurt had severe pain in his knees and his shoulder, which was keeping him from enjoying his well-deserved retirement.
Loved to ski, loved to fish, and couldn't even walk 18 holes.
That's why Kurt decided to see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
He was just awesome. He goes, yeah, give me a shot. And he took care of me. He stemmed my knee and my shoulder.
And how are you feeling now?
I was pain-free in 12 weeks. I play golf now pain-free, and it's awesome.
So you'd recommend this treatment to others in your situation?
Absolutely. Yeah, Dr. Wagner's, he's had a couple people call me, and I recommended that they do it.
Before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
Now more than ever, Lowe's knows you don't just want a low price, you want the lowest price. And with our lowest price guarantee, you can count on us for competitive prices on all your home improvement projects. If you find a qualifying lower price somewhere else on the same item, we'll match it. Lowe's, we help, you save. Price match applies to same item. Current price at qualifying retailers. Exclusions and terms apply. Learn how we'll match price at lowes.com/lowest price guarantee.
With Progressive Snapshot, you could save on auto insurance rates by driving safely, which is nice because you can just keep doing you. So keep on using that broken phone charger because it occasionally works. Keep quoting something you heard on a podcast as your own. Keep ignoring your sister's texts while you drive and after. And when baggage claim says, have a great trip, keep on saying, you too. And keep driving safely. And you could save with Snapshot from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents. Surcharge possible for unsafe driving.
An Aussie trekker travels to America to hike an epic trail.
It was rocky. It was imposing.
But Eric Robinson never made it to the end. I'm Dave Cawley. Follow my podcast, Uinta Triangle, UINTA, on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Upgrade to an efficient heat pump AC now before the summer heat. And Home Comfort Alliance will save you up to $6,000 limited time savings. And